Chapter 95. Bang! Flames burst forth. Flying swords were extremely precious, not to mention spirit and Qi Unity Realm cultivators. Even some Qingming Realm cultivators would find it hard to have one each. Thus, although Lai Wuyang had a flying sword, it was the same as Tsing Hui's Qingxian sword, a high-grade rank 4 flying sword. The two flying swords were of the same quality, but the Qingxian sword still had the upper hand when it slashed at Lai Wuyang's rank 4 flying sword. Flames burst forth, and the two flying swords' spirituality was damaged at the same time. However, Lai Wuyang's flying sword spirituality was obviously more damaged than Tsing Hui's Qingxian sword by a level. My flying sword, feeling the attack on his flying sword, Lai Wuyang exclaimed. At the same time, he was in disbelief. You actually have a flying sword too? Cultivating divine rank true Qi and holding a flying sword, who exactly are you? Ah. At this time, one of the two spirit refining realm guards who was fighting with Yan Huang suddenly screamed. Yan Huang relied on his high-grade rank 4 armor and exchanged injuries with him, killing one of them. Since he went all out, he naturally could not hide his divine rank aura Qi. Damn it, a spirit refining realm cultivator who cultivated divine rank aura Qi. Lai Wuyang quickly took out a bell and rang it. This was to summon Lai Ping to return at full speed. However, what she did not know was that Lai Ping's right-hand man had already been killed by Tsing Hui not long ago. Lai Wuyang did not say any nonsense about the consequences of offending the Jin Wu religion. She went all out to summon Lai Ping. Although the strength Yan Huang displayed was extremely strong, even stronger than her who was injured, she believed that when Lai Ping returned, it would be more than enough to deal with him. What she needed to do now was to quickly kill this true Qi cultivator, who had a flying sword and cultivated divine grade Qi. Otherwise, after Yan Huang killed the other spirit refining realm guard, he would use his flying sword to harass her. She, Lai Wuyang, might not be able to hold on until Lai Ping returns. Kill! With a bellow, Lai Wuyang arrived before Qing Su with lightning speed. Waves of fire surged from the high-grade 4th-class god sword in her hand, and with a swing of her sword, she actually created a mini tsunami composed of pure fire. 9 heavens of raging flames. However, just when Lai Wuyang thought that Tsing Hui was the weakest link and would be swiftly defeated by her, a terrifying pressure suddenly erupted from Tsing Hui's body. For a moment, a terrifying aura that wasn't inferior to Island Master Xianming's aura rose from this young man's body. It seemed as if his cultivation had been forcefully raised by a certain profound secret technique. Clang! Sword roar, dragon roar. A blazing heat wave that was far more terrifying than her 9 heavens of raging flames instantly surrounded the divine sword in the hands of the man in front of her. Wherever the sword pointed, the void distorted. A tremor that came from the depths of her soul shocked her so much that she couldn't help but widen her eyes. Not good. Lai Wuyang sensed danger and retreated explosively, but it was still too late. Surging heat waves erupted wantonly like a meteor that had suddenly charged into the atmosphere, and it exploded into countless flames and fragments. The flames and fragments ceaselessly rubbed against the air, and once again gave birth to even more violent flames that formed a boundless pressure that warped space, and it smashed onto Lai Wuyang's body with an unstoppable force. Rumble! The ground that had already been swept by the flames exploded. Sand flew up and countless flames sputtered in all directions. The scene was as if a meteor had really fallen into the ground, causing a shocking explosion. Miss! The guard that was in charge of protecting Lai Wuyang exclaimed. His face was filled with shock. You still dare to be distracted, die! Yan Huang roared and brazenly struck the chest of the guard with lightning speed. The rank 2 defensive armor in front of him, as well as his protective aura Qi, were shattered by this punch. The explosive force penetrated the chest of the guard, creating a bloody hole with a diameter of half a Qi. Who? On another battlefield, Tsing Hui suddenly waved his hand. The smoke and flames that filled the air quickly dissipated. Xiao! The sound of something breaking through the air arrived. Just as the smoke and flames were about to dissipate, Lai Wuyang's flying sword burst out and entered the flames. Want to leave? Realizing what Lai Wuyang wanted to do, Tsing Hui suddenly stepped forward. His qi surged, and the crimson dragon sword slashed towards the direction of the flying sword. Wherever the sword's edge passed, the flames in front of it were directly split apart. Pung! A muffled sound spread out from the flames. In the next moment, Lai Wuyang's figure flew out from the flames like a cannonball. While in the air, she spat out a mouthful of blood. However, although Lai Wuyang was a woman, her willpower was extremely tenacious. She forcefully suppressed her injuries, and without waiting for her figure to land, her right hand fiercely slammed on the ground. Borrowing the force, she soared into the air and stepped on the flying sword. In an instant, she broke through the air and flew away. You think you can leave? Xing Hui's sword intent in his spiritual world shook. Leaping up, the Qingxian sword shot forward and steadily landed under his feet. His qi and sword intent combined with the Qingxian sword. In an instant, his speed broke through the sound barrier. Facing the qi wave, he chased after Lai Wuyang. Young master! Seeing Xing Hui and Lai Wuyang quickly leave on their flying swords, Yan Huang shouted. In the end, he could only turn into a helpless expression. Sweeping a glance at the chaotic volcanic island, Yan Huang muttered to himself for a moment, and quickly tidied up the battlefield. Lai Wuyang was the daughter of the Jin Wu religion's guardian, Lai Ji. Moreover, she was extremely doted on by Lai Ji. This point could be seen from the fact that she cultivated divine-grade qi, and was bestowed with a protective talisman, a 4th-level high-grade divine weapon, a 4th-level high-grade armor, a 4th-level high-grade flying sword, and even the eternal blazing sunday. With so many treasures protecting her, not to mention an overlord of the 4 realms of immortality, even if an ordinary giant of the green netherworld realm came, they could die under Lai Wuyang's eternal blazing sunday. At present, Lai Wuyang was already an arrow at the end of its flight. Dying in the hands of Xing Hui was the only outcome. Once Lai Wuyang died, Lai Ji would definitely be furious. It was even possible that he would directly bring people to kill his way to the sea. In order to avoid leaving traces that would lead people to Glazed Island, he still had to slightly disguise the battlefield. Lai Wuyang flew with her sword in the air, her speed exploding to the extreme. Unfortunately, she was already injured. Later on, she was heavily injured by Xing Hui's Burning Heaven 13 Sword's 3rd sword, Starfire Flowing Light. In addition, the flying sword's spirituality was also injured by the Qingxian sword. Even if she had the advantage of qi, the distance between the two was still slowly closing. Seeing that she couldn't get rid of Xing Hui, Lai Wuyang gritted her teeth and directly activated her secret technique. Ignoring the damage to her body, her speed increased sharply. Seeing this, Xing Hui also had to increase the consumption of his sword intent, and qi to increase his speed. 400 kilometers, 450 kilometers, 500 kilometers, 550 kilometers. The speed of the two's flight had reached a limit that they could reach. In a breath's time, they had already rushed out an unknown number of meters. This kind of chase and escape lasted for nearly an hour. Even if Lai Wuyang continuously stimulated her potential, she still couldn't get rid of Xing Hui's pursuit. Instead, she was in a desperate situation. Who exactly are you? Do you have to fight to the death with our Jin Wu religion? Lai Wuyang's pretty face was deathly pale. Xing Hui didn't answer. His qi volume was inferior to Lai Wuyang's, and chasing until now had also consumed a serious amount. I know you've come for the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. I can give you the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, but you have to promise to let me live. Otherwise, to avoid falling into your hands and being tortured and interrogated, I'd rather commit suicide before being captured by you than give you the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. It had to be said that if Lai Wuyang really would rather die than be captured alive by him, the Great Sun Golden Crow technique might really be missed by him. Moreover, his true need was for the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, and not to kill Lai Wuyang. If Lai Wuyang was really willing to hand over the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, then Lai Wuyang's life and death wouldn't make any difference to him. Lai Wuyang observed his expression and instantly understood that Xing Hui had indeed come for the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. In order to save her life, she immediately said, "As long as you can swear on your own cultivation that you won't pursue me and guarantee that you won't spread the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, I can hand over the first 3 stages of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique that I possess. How can I believe that what you say is true, that the Great Sun Golden Crow technique is true? A trace of humiliation flashed through Lai Wuyang's eyes, but she still said without the slightest hesitation, I'm willing to circulate the Great Sun Golden Crow technique in front of you. You can send your qi into my body to investigate my true qi circulation method. Allowing another's true qi to enter her body, the circulation method would naturally be exposed. But in this way, her life would naturally be controlled by Xinghui. At that time, if Xinghui wanted to kill her, she wouldn't have the slightest ability to resist. Alright. Xinghui immediately agreed. When we came here, I saw a small island. Let's stay there first. Alright. Lai Wuyang said as she followed Xinghui. Very quickly, they arrived at a small island that was less than half a kilometer in diameter, that they had passed by a few dozen kilometers away. Xinghui immediately swore. After he swore, Lai Wuyang also didn't hesitate to verbalize the first 3 stages of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. Xinghui memorized the first 3 stages of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, and immediately said, circulate your true qi. Lai Wuyang didn't refute. She just sat down cross-legged in front of Xinghui, and circulated the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. Xinghui injected a stream of true qi into Lai Wuyang's body, and carefully sensed Lai Wuyang's true qi circulation method. After the true qi entered her body, the true qi circulation in Lai Wuyang's body no longer had any secrets in front of Xinghui. Even Lai Wuyang even took the initiative to guide Xinghui's true qi to fuse with her true qi. Secretly, it was similar to the true qi circulation method, causing the true qi between the two to become purer and stronger. This kind of true qi dual cultivation method lasted for a moment, and Xinghui suddenly felt a trace of abnormality. Even though his true qi had become purer and stronger, his control over his true qi had gradually decreased. It was as if his true qi was about to be controlled by Lai Wuyang. Not good. Sensing the abnormality, Xinghui's face suddenly changed, and he was about to withdraw his true qi. However, at the same time that he withdrew his true qi, Lai Wuyang actually followed the path that Xinghui withdrew his true qi, and suddenly injected her true qi into Xinghui's body. She seemed to be relying on this special dual cultivation method to completely devour the true qi in his body in one go. Chapter 96. Lai Wuyang. Xinghui roared. His powerful mental power, which had already reached the 46th order, immediately rushed into his body. In his mental world, he visualized the image of a torch dragon, circulating his true qi with all his might. In an instant, he forcefully took back control of his true qi. You can actually break free. Lai Wuyang's expression changed. Her reaction couldn't be described as slow. After Xinghui broke free from her true qi dual cultivation technique, the true qi in his body exploded, turning into a surging heat wave. Xinghui also understood what would happen if Lai Wuyang wantonly detonated her true qi in his body. Just as she detonated this blazing true qi, he abruptly sent out a palm strike. Pure physical strength slammed into Lai Wuyang's body, causing her to spit out a mouthful of blood and fly backwards. Puchi! After sending Lai Wuyang flying with a single palm strike, the true qi that Lai Wuyang left in his body completely went out of control. For a moment, Xinghui truly experienced what it meant to burn all 5 internal organs. It was as if there was a raging flame inside his body, burning crazily, capable of turning him into ashes in an instant. If it was an ordinary person, their body would undoubtedly be filled with blazing and chaotic true qi. However, Xinghui had the powerful recovery ability of the Son of Chaos, awaken the same Golden Crow bloodline as Lai Wuyang, and obtain the cultivation technique of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. Furthermore, he had just completed a dual cultivation with Lai Wuyang, so the true qi of the two had a trace of compatibility. Under these circumstances, he actually used his own true qi to surround and suppress the chaotic true qi that remained in Lai Wuyang's body. Even though there was a terrifying flame burning inside his body, it didn't completely explode and explode into nothing. However, Before Tsinghui could concentrate on suppressing the chaotic flame in his body, Lai Wuyang, who had been sent flying by his palm strike, actually forcefully suppressed her injuries. She stood up shakily, her starry eyes emitting a dense chill. Raising her sword, she charged straight at Tsinghui. The situation of being the meat on the chopping block was instantly reversed. Tsinghui gave Lai Wuyang a deep look. No wonder Lai Wuyang was willing to let him infuse his true qi into her body to investigate the circulation path of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. She had already planned this. He didn't expect Lai Wuyang to turn the tables under these circumstances. However, when he saw Lai Wuyang approaching with a sword in hand, Tsinghui abruptly slapped the ground and forcefully stomped his feet. In the next moment, his figure had already shot out like an arrow that had left the bow, directly charging into the sea. The true qi in his body went berserk. He needed to use 99% of his mind to control the true qi to encircle and fuse with Lai Wuyang's Golden Crow true qi. He had no time to use his sword to escape. Bastard! Lai Wuyang looked at Tsinghui, who had suddenly charged into the depths of the sea, and gritted his teeth. Don't let me know who you are. Otherwise, I will definitely tear you to shreds. As soon as he finished speaking, he seemed to have aggravated his injuries. A mouthful of fresh blood was spat out once again. His body swayed and he almost fell down. Feeling the terrifying injuries in her body that were about to collapse, Lai Wuyang no longer cared about chasing Tsinghui into the sea to kill him. She hurriedly took out a life-saving sacred medicine that Shakyamuni Laiji had left for her, swallowed it, and closed her eyes to adjust her breathing. Tsinghui, who had rushed into the bottom of the sea, also took out the water-splitting pearl at the first moment. His body quickly sank to the bottom of the sea. In order to prevent Lai Wuyang from chasing him into the sea, he even divided a part of his mind and tried his best to swim forward. After swimming for less than a moment, a whale-horn fish about 10 meters long appeared in front of him. This was a medium-sized fish with a gentle temperament that lived in the ocean. Seeing that the blazing true qi in his body could not be suppressed and was about to explode, Tsinghui did not dare to waste any more time. He suddenly shot forward and directly rushed into the whale-horn fish's body through its mouth. He restrained his aura and lay dormant. The whale-horn fish was only 12 meters long and was not a big fish. When Tsinghui entered its body, it was naturally irritable. It quickly swam toward the sea area where it thought it was safe, far away from the island. And Tsinghui himself did not care about the life and death of this whale-horn fish. He used all his mind to circulate the Great Sun Golden Crow technique to condense true qi. He wanted to use this technique to wear down Lai Wuyang's Golden Crow true qi. Time quietly passed in this environment where one was fighting against the heavens. In the void, a huge warship was braving the wind and breaking the waves, slowly moving forward. Compared to Lai Wuyang's warship, this warship was not as magnificent. But in terms of area, it was 5 to 6 times larger than ordinary warships. Sailing at low altitude, it was like a large island, casting a huge shadow on the surface of the sea. Miss, we will reach our dragon whale kingdom in another 2 days. This trip to Shaoyangsi City brought us, the Dantai family, a total of 3,200 spirit stones. And of these 3,200 spirit stones, more than 600 spirit stones will go to Mississippi. When we return, the city lord will definitely be very happy. At this moment, on the deck of the warship, an old man with spirit refining cultivation and a young girl dressed as a maid stood respectfully behind a sweet-looking woman, chatting about something. The woman wore a jade hairpin on her head, and her soft long hair casually flowed down her shoulders, casually fluttering in front of her light blue dress. Her waist was tied with a white silk belt, perfectly accentuating her slender figure. On her white jade-like wrist was a pair of sparkling jade bracelets, making her look even more noble and elegant. Uncle Wu is overpraising me. I actually only followed Uncle Wu and the other big brothers to gain experience. Not only did I not help everyone, but I also made everyone worry and tired. Mrs. Luck is amazing. This time, you actually managed to find a rank 3 spirit beast corpse and sold it for 600 spirit stones. It's much better than the previous times. Unfortunately, our overseas resources are lacking. If Miss was born in the resource-rich inland, you would definitely be able to rely on your luck to rise rapidly and bring our Dantai family's power to greater heights. The old man and the maid beside the woman interjected. Inland, we are 40,000 kilometers away from the inland. The journey is long. Even with the sea map, a round trip would take half a month. Such a long journey in the chaotic overseas is too easy to change. I'm afraid father will not allow me to go. The woman seemed to yearn for the inland. Unfortunately, the sea map was precious. Without reaching a certain level, one might not be able to come into contact with the inland waterway. Without a waterway, if one were to rashly enter the territory of a powerful sea beast, the outcome would be very tragic. In fact, there's nothing good about the inland. It's said that it's completely occupied by 10 powerful sections. Cultivators who are unwilling to join the 10 great sects have no way out at all. How can it compare to the carefree life overseas? The old man Uncle Wu shook his head and said. The woman in blue nodded slightly and was about to say something. But at this moment, she glanced down from the corner of her eyes and said in surprise, there is someone. The old man Uncle Wu's eyes flashed as if he was using a secret technique. Very quickly, he saw the figure on the surface of the sea. There really is someone. Miss, look. That person's clothes seem to be the style of the inland people. The maid-like girl beside the old man suddenly said. That's true. Lower the bow. Let's go over and take a look. The woman in blue's eyes lit up and quickly ordered. He seems to be unconscious, but it seems that he still has vitality. Miss, be careful. The inland people have always been hostile to us overseas people. Moreover, this place is 40,000 kilometers away from the inland. For an inland person to appear here is really suspicious. In my opinion, it is better to ignore it. Whether he is an inland person or not, won't we know once we go over and take a look? During this period of time, I have read a lot of information about the inland. If we save him, maybe we can ask him about the details of the inland. The old man saw that his miss was unable to hold back her curiosity, and could only say, Miss, wait for a while. I will observe for a while before we decide. After saying that, he had already summoned his flying beast and flew towards the figure on the surface of the water. When he saw that the unconscious figure seemed to be only in the true chi realm, and the chi in the body was very unstable, he immediately let out a sigh of relief. Even if someone in the true chi realm had bad intentions, with his spirit-refining realm cultivation, it was more than enough to suppress them. Very soon, the old man scooped up the figure. As he carefully examined him, he quickly gave a conclusion. This person's injuries are extremely severe. There's even a strand of scorching true chi that constantly damages his organs. However, I don't know if it's because of his natural talent or because he's ingested other heavenly resources, but his vitality is extremely tenacious. The scorching true chi has formed a wondrous balance with his recovery ability. As a result, although his injuries can't be healed, they can't be fatal. Uncle Wu, can you save him? The old man glanced at the man. The blazing chi in his body is extremely pure. It is very likely to belong to the level of holy chi. I am unable to resolve it. However, if Miss really wants to save him, you can try using your chi. Miss, you have awakened the bloodline of the winged dragon and cultivated the heavy water chi. If you can use water to extinguish the fire, it is possible to help him subdue the blazing chi in his body and let him recover. That's good, I will try. The blue-dressed woman said. She stepped forward and placed her hand on the man's back. A pure heavy water chi was injected into the man's body and rushed towards the blazing and overbearing fire attribute chi. As the old man said, as this chi was injected into the man's body, the balance between the blazing chi and the man's recovery ability was suddenly broken. The blazing chi was suppressed, and the man's aura was obviously stronger than before. The blue-dressed woman's infusion of chi did not last for a moment. She already felt that the black water chi in her body seemed to be ignited by the blazing chi. She exclaimed and quickly withdrew her right hand. What's wrong, miss? The old man quickly came to the front of the blue-dressed woman with a nervous face. It's nothing, it's nothing. The blue-dressed woman shook her head again and again, and then her gaze fell on the man. The blazing qi in his body is really overbearing. My heavy water qi was actually almost heated and burned by that blazing qi. Even your heavy water qi can't do anything to the blazing qi in his body. Could it be that the qi has reached the divine grade? We have not heard of anyone overseas who has cultivated the fire attribute divine grade qi. It seems that the person who injured him must be from the inland. When the old man heard the blue-dressed woman's words, he was slightly relieved. The inland people were too far away from the overseas forces. Since the man in front of them was injured by the inland powerhouse, they did not have to worry about any trouble if they saved him. Just as the old man and the blue-dressed woman were guessing the man's identity, and who exactly left that blazing qi behind, the balance was broken. The man, whose recovery ability gradually gained the upper hand, was constantly strengthening his aura. When his aura was strong to a certain extent, he suddenly opened his eyes. Chapter 97. Xing Hui could vaguely feel that he had entered the body of a horned whale, and was shuttling at the bottom of the sea along with this painful sea beast. Unfortunately, he had put all his energy into suppressing the golden crow real qi that could erupt at any time in his body, and had no time to care about other things. He only vaguely knew that this horned whale finally couldn't withstand the burning qi that escaped from his body from time to time after more than 10 days, and died from internal combustion. After death, the horned whale's body floated for a moment, and was dismembered by other sea fish. During this time, some sea fish wanted to attack him, but they couldn't do anything to him, because he was wearing a second-level inner armor. He didn't know how long he floated like this. He was extremely tired, and at the same time, the golden crow real qi in his body had been suppressed to the extreme. In addition, he was saved by the woman in the blue dress, and was injected with a high-quality real qi, which suppressed the golden crow real qi in one fell swoop. Finally, he was able to divert his attention and open his eyes. He woke up. Seeing Xing Hui open his eyes, the maid beside the woman in the blue dress was quite curious. "Miss, please wait a moment." Without waiting for the woman in the blue dress to speak, the old man Uncle Wu had already stepped forward. "May I know who you are? And why are you floating on the sea?" When the old man asked, he keenly felt that there seemed to be an invisible force entangling his mind, giving him an illusion that his secret was being peeped at. Xing Hui's heart moved, and he understood that this might be some means of the old man to detect the truth of his words. He didn't hide it and answered, "I am a first-level individual cultivator, and by chance, I got a good cultivation method. Until now, I don't belong to any sect or sect. Not long ago, I had a conflict with a core disciple of the Jinwu religion, and was seriously injured by him. I had to escape into the sea with the help of the sea currents. Today, by chance, I got the help of this young lady, and was able to suppress the true qi that the core disciple of the Jinwu religion left in my body." After hearing Xing Hui's words, a dark light flashed in the depths of the old man's eyes. When he found out that he was a rogue cultivator who had offended a successor disciple of the Jinwu religion, and was severely injured and stranded here, there was a trace of sympathy in his eyes. The vigilance on his face was also reduced compared to before. "So you are a successor disciple of the Jinwu religion? That overbearing and blazing genuine qi. Could it be the golden crow genuine qi at the divine level? It is indeed the golden crow vital energy." Golden crow vital energy? When the blue-dressed woman saw Xing Hui nodding, she could not help but exclaim, "I've read many books. Among the top 10 saint sects in the inner land, the golden crow true qi is the most overbearing. Even the limitless true qi of the limitless sword sect, the purple night true qi of the Shenshao sword sect, the three lives true qi of the creation mystical gate, and the chaos origin true qi of the Hunyuan heaven sect can't compare to the golden crow true qi. It's really incredible that this young master can still survive after being struck by the golden crow true qi. My physique is stronger than that of ordinary people, so I can barely block the golden crow true qi." The old man nodded. It's not easy for individual cultivators to survive, especially in the inner land. The top 10 saint sects dominate the world, and ordinary cultivators have almost no space to survive. Now you've offended a true disciple of the Jinwu religion, and a core true disciple who has cultivated divine-grade vital energy. If you return to the inner land and expose your identity, I'm afraid it will be extremely dangerous. After the old man finished speaking, he led the blue-dressed woman forward. This is our family's young lady, Dan Taiyu, the daughter of Dan Tating, the governor of Beihai City in the Dragon Whale Country. If you don't mind, why don't you follow us back to the Dragon Whale Country to have a rest? Xinghui greets Miss Dan Tai. At this moment, Xinghui still needed time to completely suppress the Golden Crow true qi in his body. He even had a bolder plan, which was to use the remaining Golden Crow true qi in Lai Wuyang's body to make the Golden Crow bloodline cross the awakening realm and rush to the true qi realm of the second stage of the immortal life, which was the same as the Burning Sun Sutra. At this time, he needed a place to cultivate in seclusion. Then I'm sorry to disturb you. Dan Taiyu smiled slightly and looked at Xinghui curiously with her bright starry eyes. It's okay. When you have time to rest, you can tell me about the local customs of the inner land. Okay. Xiao Xiao, arrange a room for Prince Xinghui. Yes. The maid beside Dan Taiyu responded respectfully and gestured with her hand. Prince Xinghui, please come with me. While speaking, she had already led Xinghui to the rest area of the ship. Miss, what this man said just now is not false. He is indeed an individual cultivator without any sect, and was injured by a core true disciple of the Jinwu religion. As soon as Xinghui left, the old man, Uncle Wu, immediately reported to Dan Taiyu. I naturally trust the information obtained by Wu Yu, who is connected to heaven and man. Uncle Wu has awakened the bloodline of the spiritual beast Yun Di, which is a branch of the sacred beast Di Ting. It is best at investigating the changes in people's words and distinguishing between truth and falsehood. If Uncle Wu says he is an individual cultivator, then he is an individual cultivator. Miss, you flatter me. Wu Yu smiled slightly. Compared to the sacred beast Di Ting, that can truly understand all things in the world and distinguish between the truth and falsehood of all living things, I am still far from it. However, what this person said should be true. According to my judgment, although he has just formed his true qi, he should not have cultivated for more than 30 years. Moreover, his talent is exceptional, being able to resist divine-grade true qi and not die. His potential must be extraordinary. Now that he has offended a core true disciple of the Jinwu religion, who has cultivated the Golden Crow true qi, he will definitely not be able to stay in the inner land, and can only choose to settle down overseas to avoid the sharp edge. Miss, you just saved his life. If we can recruit him, he will definitely become a great help to our North Sea city in the future. Then, wouldn't this be considered as taking advantage of your kindness? Not really, we are just taking what we need. In fact, I can see that this person called Sing, who also wants to find a place to settle down. Perhaps he wants to heal his injuries as soon as possible. Or perhaps he wants to conceal his identity to avoid being hunted down by the core true disciple of the Jinwu religion. Otherwise, he would not have accepted Miss' invitation to go to North Sea City. At this point, Wu Yu's expression became slightly serious. Miss, you have never been to the inner land, so you don't know the influence of the 10 great sacred sects in the inner land. You also don't know the power of a core true disciple, who has cultivated the Golden Crow true qi. For such a genius disciple, if he said that he can command a spirit and qi unity realm expert, I would believe it. I think that if I were an individual cultivator without any background like him, after offending a core true disciple, who has cultivated the Golden Crow true qi, I am afraid that I would not dare to set foot in the inner land for the rest of my life. Command a spirit and qi unity realm expert. Dan Taiyu suddenly exclaimed. The Dragon Whale Nation was a top-notch island in this sea region, and the Dragon Whale Nation King was a top-notch figure ranked 633 on the Divine Dragon list. He once had an astonishing battle record of killing 2 great experts of the Divine Qi Unification realm. However, the Dragon Whale Nation King only had 3 experts of the Divine Qi Unification realm under his command. Moreover, the relationship between these 2 experts and the Dragon Whale Nation King was more of a friend than a subordinate. Let alone an expert of the true energy realm, Even the Dragon Whale Nation King's eldest son couldn't order these 3 experts around. Now, according to Wu Yu, a true disciple of the Jin Wu religion in the true Qi Unity realm, could actually command a spirit and Qi Unity realm expert? Miss, it's very difficult for you to cultivate holy grade true Qi. It's completely a coincidence. There's almost no hope for you to cultivate holy grade Gang Qi. Therefore, Master didn't spend too much effort on you. However, in fact, anyone with holy grade true Qi has a high status, even in the 10 great saint sects. Not to mention divine grade true Qi. Wu Yu shook his head regretfully. Telling Dan Taiyu too much about the mysteries of holy grade true Qi and holy grade Gang Qi would only increase her worries. He then said, in short, if this Tsing Hui has a little self-awareness, he should know that he can't go back to the inland. However, he just came to the sea and needs to join a force to integrate into it. With his true Qi Unity realm cultivation, those spirit and Qi Unity realm experts might not take him seriously. He won't be put in an important position, even if he joins them. Our Beihai City is the best choice for him. Dan Taiyu nodded, not fully understanding. If Prince Tsing Hui really wants to join us, I'll send an invitation. Haha, then I'll wait for Miss Good News. Under the guidance of the maid Xiao Xiao, Tsing Hui was quickly arranged to a 30 square meter room with a rather good location. Even in the spirit refining realm, true Qi realm, even in the sea where there were many strong cultivators, he could be considered a first-rate expert. Not to mention joining a spirit and Qi Unity realm expert. Even if he joined a spirit and Qi Unity realm expert, it wouldn't be difficult for him to become a guard captain. The Golden Crow True Qi is really overbearing. It seems that if I want to completely refine it for myself, I'll need at least 1 or 2 months. Tsing Hui felt a headache as he felt the Golden Crow True Qi in his body that was constantly restless under his suppression. He didn't expect that at the last moment, he would be tricked by Lai Wuyang and almost die. However, Tsing Hui didn't have much hatred towards Lai Wuyang for the series of troubles brought about by him. After all, he was the one who robbed Lai Wuyang first, and Lai Wuyang was the one who passively counterattacked. For him to end up like this, he could only blame himself for not being careful enough. It was impossible to refine the Golden Crow True Qi in a short period of time, but it wasn't impossible for him to temporarily recover from his injuries. Tsing Hui separated a part of his consciousness and placed it on his primal chaos level. His primal chaos level had already risen from the previous 16th to 17th. In other words, he had actually drifted in the sea for more than a month. His primal chaos level had reached 17th. Tsing Hui's gaze swept across the various special abilities of the Son of Primal Chaos one by one, and finally landed on the recovery characteristic. Talent in the way of the sword, personal space, appraisal, and other special abilities could display unimaginable abilities when they reached a high enough level. Take the personal space for example. After reaching the 10th level, not only could it extend for tens of millions of li, it could also accommodate living things. At that time, the space would no longer be a space but a world that spanned tens of millions of li. There was also appraisal. After reaching the 10th level, not only could he detect a person's strength, origin, and weakness, even the cultivation method and the circulation route of the cultivation method would be exposed in front of him. If he really raised his appraisal to the 10th level, he wouldn't need to think of ways to obtain the Great Sun Golden Crow technique on Lai Wuyang at all. He only needed to meet her face to face to understand the circulation method of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique within the 10th level. Of course, the prerequisite was that she had the Great Sun Golden Crow technique that could be cultivated to the 10th level. These were all divine abilities. Unfortunately, the most effective one for him was still the recovery characteristic. He focused slightly, and in the next moment, his recovery characteristic directly climbed from the 3rd level to the 4th level. With the 4th level recovery characteristic, his body instantly started to recover at a speed that far exceeded the destruction caused by the Golden Crow True Qi. Chapter 98. Whoosh! Tsing Hui appeared in the personal space of the leader of Dawn, Ling Yu. Seeing Tsing Hui, Yen Huang, who had been waiting for a long time, immediately looked at him. However, they didn't talk at all. They just nodded politely like ordinary friends. Your Excellency Pak Hui, I heard that you and Sword Master Bai Hung have a follow-up cultivation method other than the awakening method? And it's a follow-up cultivation method for the fire element. Are you willing to sell it? Xing Hui showed his face, and was about to leave with Yan Huang to discuss matters in his personal space when a voice sounded. Ching Su looked over, and a woman who seemed to be in her 30s walked over. She gave off a graceful and noble aura. Long Quebec. She was one of the 3 Unity of Spirit Realm Masters in Dawn. I'm sorry, Your Excellency Long Ke should know that any exchange of techniques requires a vow not to spread it. Xing Hui said to Long Quebec, it's just a normal vow. It's not a chaos vow. Nowadays, swearing between cultivators is as simple as eating and drinking. How many people will actually abide by it? Long Ke waved her hand dismissively. I'm very interested in that technique. Why don't you name a price? As long as the price is reasonable, I'm willing to buy it regardless of whether I can cultivate it or not. Your Excellency Long Ke, since I've already made a vow, I naturally won't spread it. This is a matter of honor. Please forgive me. Xing Hui shook his head. Long Ke frowned. Do you think I can't afford it? Pak Hui, as far as I know, you're in the awakening realm. How about a 3rd-level high-grade god weapon? With a 3rd-level high-grade god weapon, you can even fight against a true energy realm master. As for those in the awakening realm, you can do whatever you want. This isn't a matter of price. Before Xing Hui could finish, Long Ke spoke again. A 4th-level low-grade god weapon. I said. A 4th-level mid-grade god weapon. Your Excellency Pak Hui, don't push your luck. It's just a set of cultivation methods. I'm just asking you to repeat it. There's no loss to you at all. Long Ke said with an unfriendly expression. Xing Hui shook his head and stopped talking. Yan Huang, who was at the side, saw that Long Ke's expression had suddenly turned extremely ugly. In order to prevent Xing Hui from completely offending this Dawn Deacon, he hurriedly stepped forward to be the peacemaker. Lord Long Ke, there is a reason why Her Excellency Pak Hui is unwilling to go against the oath she made. It is said that the 3 realms of longevity, the spirit refining realm condenses the will of the martial Tao, and the spirit Qi of the 4 realms of longevity, have requirements on one's temperament. If one's temperament is not up to standard, or if there is a flaw in one's state of mind, the cultivation of these 2 realms will become extremely difficult. Furthermore, this flaw will continue to accumulate. The so-called flaw in one's state of mind will affect one's breakthrough, is just an excuse for one's lack of accumulation. If one uses divine grade Jinqi to condense saint grade Gang Qi, it won't be difficult even if one has a flaw in one's state of mind. It wouldn't be difficult to fuse one's mental energy with the spiritual grade stellar energy, to fuse the spiritual grade stellar energy with the divine Qi. As for the saint realm, don't you think you're thinking too far ahead? Long Ke glanced coldly at Yan Huang, clearly blaming him for being a busybody. If it were an ordinary person, they would naturally shrink back at this time. But Yan Huang, Your Excellency Long Ke, you're wrong. Any cultivator has the right to pursue a higher realm. If Her Excellency Pak Hui wants to condense divine grade Jinqi and divine grade Gang Qi, but at the crucial moment because of a flaw in one's state of mind, one slip will cause everlasting sorrow. Divine grade Jinqi and divine grade Gang Qi aren't that easy to cultivate. Don't be too ambitious. It's more important to grasp the present. Long Ke couldn't be bothered with Yan Huang anymore, and turned to Xing Hui. A mid-grade tier 4 divine weapon, and a low-grade tier 4 armor. This is my final price. Bai Su, tell me if you're selling or not. Although Yan Huang knew that Long Ke was definitely dissatisfied with him, he could only brace himself and say, since Her Excellency Pak Hui has the Taoist rhyme to exchange for this kind of technique, she might not lack a few divine weapons. Yan Huang, this is none of your business. Long Ke suddenly turned around and glared at Yan Huang sternly. Or are you saying that you're relying on the small glazed island behind you to criticize me? You. Yan Huang's expression changed drastically when he heard Long Ke reveal his identity in the real world. The rest of the people in the hall also looked at Yan Huang and Long Ke in surprise. Your Excellency Long Ke, you've gone too far. At this time, Xingyao, who was also talking to Tsang Song in the hall, suddenly stood up and said sternly, "Don't speak nonsense." At this time, Long Kei realized that she had lost her composure. Secretly investigating the other party's identity in the real world had always been a big taboo in a chaos organization. Although there were indeed people doing it in the dark, no one dared to put it on the table. Once everyone's identity in the real world was exposed, it was very likely to cause a series of serious consequences. For example, 5 years ago, the traitor of Dawn, Dragon Shadow, had not only revealed the location of the trade, causing the many Sons of Chaos and Dawn to be captured in one fell swoop, but he had also secretly investigated the true identities of those Sons of Chaos, captured them alive, and sold them to organizations that specialized in capturing Sons of Chaos alive, or important figures who needed to turn themselves into Sons of Chaos. Just one person like that caused Dawn's vitality to be greatly damaged. The original size of more than 60 Sons of Chaos dropped to 34 in one go. Sorry, it was a slip of the tongue. Long Kei had no choice but to express her attitude. Everyone, please don't leak the news you just heard. Otherwise, you'll be a traitor to Dawn. Xing Yao glanced at the 6 people in the hall and said with a serious expression. The 6 people hurriedly responded, "We understand. I didn't hear anything today. I swear to the heavens that I won't leak a single word of what I heard today." Xing Yao nodded. At the same time, he glanced at Blazing Glory, who had an ugly expression. After hesitating for a moment, he said softly, "I'll inform the leader of this matter and get her to talk to a few members. If you're really worried, you can only go somewhere else." Blazing Glory nodded slightly. He knew that this was all Dawn could do. It didn't have the ability to restrain its internal members. At this time, Long Kei couldn't stay any longer. She said to Tsing Hui, "1 mid-grade tier 4 god weapon and 1 low-grade tier 4 armor. This is my final price. Go back and consider it carefully." After saying that, she left Ling Yu's personal space. After Long Kei left, Tsing Hui didn't stay in Ling Yu's personal space for long. After leaving, he returned to his personal space and pulled Blazing Glory over. "Young master." As Blazing Glory spoke, there was a hint of worry in his expression. "Don't worry. Long Kei won't attack Glazed Island for the time being," Tsing Hui said. "Huh?" Yan Huang was slightly startled. Then, as if he had thought of something, he nodded slightly. "If Long Kei is really targeting me and Colored Glass Island, she wouldn't be so stupid as to expose our location." "That may be the case, but you still have to be careful. The people of Dawn know about your chaos rank, right?" "I know." Yan Huang nodded with an ugly expression. "I understand. I will leave the matters of Colored Glass Island to the others for the time being. It's a pity that our Dawn is only a small chaos organization. If it were a large chaos organization, such a phenomenon would almost never occur. The trust between the Sons of Chaos even surpasses that of ordinary friends." "Huh? Why?" "There are sword wielders in large chaos organizations. They are equivalent to the sex punishers. Every sword wielder is a high-ranking Son of Chaos above Chaos rank 25, who has cultivated the incarnation technique. Any Son of Chaos who joins a large chaos organization must leave behind a mental wave in advance. If this Son of Chaos violates the rules of this large chaos organization, he will be pursued by the sword wielders. The power that the incarnation technique can transmit is limited. What if it can't do anything to that traitor? The sword wielders will personally pursue him across the sea." Tsing Hui nodded slightly at this. A Son of Chaos at Chaos rank 25 was usually at the peak of the Saint Realm. Such a person could go anywhere in the world. If you have the chance in the future, join a large chaos organization. If young master can cultivate divine-grade stellar energy, you can use Miss Nalen's connections to join Celestial Dome. It's said that Celestial Dome treats its members very well. Immortal-level sword, fist, spear and saber techniques are free to read, and internal members trade at a very low price. If you participate in some of Celestial Dome's special operations and complete missions, you can even earn contribution points and precious rewards. Joining Celestial Dome has a better future than joining the 10 sacred sects. I'll find a chance to learn more about it," Tsing Hui said. Suppressing his worry about Colored Glass Island being exposed, Yan Huang said, "Young master, you've been gone for more than a month. Did you run into some sort of trouble?" "The trouble has been resolved. I've obtained the first 3 levels of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, and plan to find a place to seclude myself for a period of time. I called you here to inform you." "Congratulations, young master. Given young master's abilities, once you cultivate the first 3 levels of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, cultivate divine-grade stellar energy, and supplement it with the might of divine arts, you'll be able to move unhindered across the sea." Divine-grade stellar energy, Xing Hui nodded. "I hope I can cultivate it." The stellar energy level was, in truth, condensing true qi to the extreme. If one wanted to refine qi into stellar energy, the most important thing was to use a powerful martial will to condense true qi into a single body and unleash it in an explosive attack to achieve an indestructible effect. It was just like how condensing water into ice required an extremely low temperature. Xing Hui himself had already condensed sword intent at the blood transformation realm. After years of constant polishing, his mental strength had reached level 46, and his sword intent was on the verge of reaching small success. It was not difficult for him to condense stellar energy. The difference was whether he had 100% chance of condensing divine-grade stellar energy. Chapter 99. If you are in danger, send me a message. If I can help, I will. Xing Hui said slowly. Yan Huang, who was congratulating him, was shocked. Xing Hui was the master, and he was the servant. Now that he was in trouble, Xing Hui could stay out of it. But he actually promised, willing to help. Yan Huang took a deep breath and said with a solemn expression, "Rest assured, young master. If I really need your help, I will ask for your help." Xing Hui nodded. Yan Huang's real identity being discovered was due to his own carelessness, but being exposed had something to do with him. However, it wasn't entirely a bad thing to have his thoughts exposed. An enemy in the dark was often more terrifying than an enemy in the open. After exchanging some air with Yan Huang, Xing Hui's consciousness returned to the ship. After slightly restraining his mind, the mysterious changes of the first 3 layers of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique flashed through his mind. After carefully comprehending the second layer of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, he slowly focused his mind on the Golden Crow true qi in Lai Wuyang's body. When Lai Wuyang wanted to harm Xing Hui, he poured all his true qi into Xing Hui's body in an attempt to devour the true qi in Xing Hui's body. The amount of true qi possessed by a true qi realm expert was no small matter. Even if a lot of it was lost, Xing Hui estimated that after completely refining it, breaking through to the true qi realm wouldn't be a problem. If he was lucky, it was also very likely that he would catch up later and step into the initial stage of true qi realm before qi yang true qi. However, everything had to wait until he was in his peak state. Now, he continued to use his sword intent to study the Golden Crow true qi, preparing to cultivate to the second layer of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique in one go. While he was studying the Golden Crow vital energy, the huge ship gradually sailed into a large island that was several times larger than the Colored Glaze Island, and stopped at a city airport not far from the coastline. They had arrived at Dragon Whale Country's North Sea City. North Sea City's spaceport was also a huge pillar that was 300 meters tall and 10 meters in diameter. Every 30 meters, 8 platforms extended out from the pillar. There were a total of 6 floors, and 48 warships could be docked. At this moment 14 warships were docked. As the daughter of the city lord, Dan Taiyu was piloting the city lord's mansion's battleship and was naturally docked at the highest level. Taking advantage of the terrain, Xing Hui glanced down at North Sea City below. This city guarded the North Sea, resisting pirates and vicious beasts from the sea. Its construction was extremely grand, its walls towering into the clouds, and there were a large number of anti-air defense turrets several dozen meters tall. If any warships approached without permission, the anti-air defense turrets would blast those warships into pieces. In addition, there were also many strong cultivators in the city. Xing Hui sensed the aura of 5 to 6 spirit refining cultivators. This scale was not much inferior to Colored Glaze Island. One city was equivalent to half of Colored Glaze Island. There were a total of 10 cities similar to North Sea City. From this, one could see how huge the power of the Dragon Whale country was. Xianming Island's lord is ranked more than 800 on the Divine Dragon list. Mobilizing more than 20 spirit refining cultivators in one go is already considered a large scale. The Dragon Whale Island's lord is ranked above Xianming Island's lord at 633. It is reasonable to have such power. Xinghui thought. He now had a direct understanding of the number of strong cultivators in the North Sea. There were already close to 100 spirit refining cultivators in the island. No wonder the 10 great sects dared to attack, as long as it was not a Law King or Hall Master level cultivator. When the ship docked, there was already an elegant young man with a spirit refining realm cultivator and a group of guards waiting there. Second brother. Seeing the man, Dan Taiyu stepped forward and bowed. Third sister, you're back. How was it? Was Shaoyangxi City fun? Shaoyangxi City is indeed worthy of being the largest sea city in our generation. There are many kinds of goods and countless merchants from different islands. It is even more prosperous than the Dragon Whale City that I went to before. This time it was really an eye-opener. Dan Taiyu smiled. Where's big sister? Still at Sea Wind Fort. In this month, those sea beasts attacked like crazy, alright. You must be tired from the journey. Go back and have a good rest. I'll take over the unloading of the goods. As Dan Taiyu spoke, she seemed to have thought of something and quickly waved to Xinghui. Second brother. This is Xinghui, a rogue cultivator. He offended a core disciple of the Jinwu religion and was heavily injured. He escaped into the sea and was coincidentally saved by us. He wants to stay in our North Sea city for a while. Offended a core disciple of the Jinwu religion? The man looked at Xinghui and glanced at Wu Yu, who was behind Dan Taiyu. After Wu Yu secretly nodded his head, he carefully sized up Xinghui. Seeing that Xinghui was young but had already reached the true Qi realm, he smiled and said, "This one is Dan Taiying. Your Excellency Xinghui has already reached the true Qi realm at such a young age. Truly extraordinary. In our North Sea city, a true Qi realm cultivator is qualified to be a guest elder. How about I make the decision to invite Your Excellency Xinghui to be a guest elder of our North Sea city?" Second brother. When Dan Taiyu saw that Dan Taiying had proposed to make Xinghui a guest elder of North Sea city as soon as they met, as if he was trying to force her to repay his kindness, she immediately called out in dissatisfaction. Dan Taiying glanced at Dan Taiyu with a look that said, "I have my own plans," before turning to Xinghui. A guest elder of North Sea City only needs to lend a helping hand when North Sea City is in trouble. Normally, you can come and go as you please without any hindrance. Moreover, once you become a guest elder of North Sea City, there will be people to take care of your basic needs. Every month, you can enter my North Sea City's library to flip through a book. These books not only contain true Qi refinement methods and Aura Qi refinement methods, but also sword techniques and fist techniques that can only be cultivated in the true Qi realm and Aura refining realm. Xinghui pondered for a moment. Now that Colored Glass Island had been exposed, there was a chance that other Sons of Chaos might be spying on him. It was not good for him to stay for long. Now that he was overseas, he really had no place to stay. He nodded slightly and said, "All right. Haha, Sir Xinghui will definitely not regret his choice. Please." Dan Taiying laughed loudly and gestured for Xinghui to enter North Sea City. "I originally had the intention of letting second young master pulled Xinghui into our North Sea City. Xinghui is originally from the mainland and has a clean background. After offending a core disciple of the Jinwu religion, he has no hope of returning to the mainland. There is no need to worry about him. In addition, he has cultivated to the true Qi realm in a short 30 years. As long as we nurture him well, there is a high chance that he will step into the aura refining realm in the future. This kind of aura refining realm expert that we nurture is much more credible than those who join us halfway. Especially this person's talent is extraordinary, and it is very likely that he has awakened spirit-grade true Qi." Wu Yu was very appreciative of Dan Taiying's approach. What was the use of a favor? It was better to turn it into tangible benefits that could be seen with the naked eye as soon as possible. Dan Taiying brought Dan Taiyu, Xing Hui, and the others into North Sea City. Not long after, in the study of City Lord Dan Tating, a middle-aged man with a cultivation of the spirit-refining realm walked in. City Lord, eldest young miss is asking for help again. And 6 days ago, didn't we just allocate a batch of spirit origin stones that can be used as materials for the giant spirit origin cannons? It has been used up so quickly. In less than 2 months, it will be the once-in-a-decade treasure offering assembly. The spirit stones in the city have already been used up in order to purchase the Sky Underworld stone. In the next year, many resources will be used up. Dan Tating frowned and said. In fact, other than requesting for resources, eldest young miss also hopes that we will send experts. She even hopes that City Lord, our Dragon Eagle squad, will be dispatched. The Dragon Eagle squad was the most elite squad in North Sea City. It was made up of 30 true Qi realm experts who had cultivated spirit rank Xin Qi and 4 captains. Among them, the captain was Dan Tating, who was the City Lord of North Sea City. If this squad were to go all out, it would be equivalent to half of North Sea City's strength. Air never exaggerates. It seems that the situation over there is quite serious. Strange, it's not like there's a disaster at sea. Why are these sea beasts dauntlessly attacking Sea Breeze Fort? Recently, there have been many underwater volcanic eruptions. Could it be related to this phenomenon? Why would an underwater volcanic eruption cause these sea beasts to attack our North Sea City? Moreover, it's the Sea Breeze Fort under North Sea City's jurisdiction. This is illogical. Dan Tating muttered to himself for a moment and ordered, "Send the Dragon Eagle squad. In addition, Eagle Wing, go and investigate what is going on with these sea beasts. I keep feeling that something is amiss." Yes, the male Eagle Wing responded and quickly retreated. At the same time that the Eagle Wing retreated, Wuyu also came to the study. "Master, Wuyu, you're here. Sit." "Master, this is the Space Underworld Stone. Due to the pretense of going to Shaoyang Sea City to carry out the transaction, there were no mishaps along the way. I reckon that no one knows that this Space Underworld Stone ended up in our North Sea City's hands. Good, the king's cultivation has already reached a bottleneck. If he wants to break through again, he will have to be like a Kuan transforming into a Peng. Soaring into the heavens. The energy contained within the Space Underworld Stone is extremely effective for cultivating similar techniques. With this Space Underworld Stone, in the treasure presentation assembly 2 months later, our North Sea City may not be able to rank first and have the qualifications to propose conditions to the king. However, if we rank in the top 3 and are exempt from all taxes for 10 years, there is a great hope." The old man smiled and nodded. In fact, this journey was surprisingly smooth. Not only was the transaction easily completed, we also encountered the corpse of a 3rd-rank spirit beast. I reckon that it was destroyed by the eruption of an underwater volcano. A 3rd-rank spirit beast's corpse allowed us to obtain 600 spirit stones for free. Even a 3rd-rank spirit beast's corpse could be found? It seems that you, is indeed our Dantai family's lucky star, ha ha ha. When Dan Tating heard this news, he couldn't help but smile with gratification. Wuyu also revealed a smile. In addition to encountering a spirit beast's corpse, the young miss also recruited a talent for the mayor. A young talent who is not even 30 years old and has cultivated spirit-grade Qi. Oh, Dan Tating might not pay much attention to a true energy realm cultivator, but if this true energy realm cultivator was only 30 years old and had cultivated spirit-grade Qi, then it was enough to attract people's attention. Wuyu did not hesitate and spoke about the origin of this person. Dan Tating understood that Wuyu had awakened a bloodline talent and nodded slightly. If that's the case, there is no harm in carefully observing him. If his temperament is not bad, our North Sea City can put in some effort to nurture him into the spirit-refining realm. This subordinate understands. Chapter 100. The inland is actually so dangerous. There are also a large number of ferocious beasts and spirit beasts. Of course, there are sea beasts in the ocean, and similarly, there are powerful ferocious beasts, spirit beasts, and even sacred beasts in the inland. However, no matter how powerful the sacred beasts are, they will definitely be hunted down by humans once they appear. Thus, these terrifying creatures that are powerful enough to destroy cities can only hide deep in the mountains and forests. Xing Hui and Dan Taiyu were talking about the daily happenings on the inland in the guest's courtyard in North Sea City's City Lord's mansion. The maid Xiao Xiao stood by his side. Her pretty little face was also filled with curiosity and yearning for the inland world. Even sacred beasts don't dare to appear on the inland? Some semi-holy beasts with the bloodline of holy beasts can set off a monstrous calamity in our seas, let alone a true holy beast. Once a holy beast descends, it usually means the destruction of an island and the misfortune of millions of creatures. Are there no demon hunters specialized in dealing with these spirit beasts, half-sacred beasts, and sacred beasts? According to what I know, the blood essence of sacred beasts purified from half-sacred beasts can often be sold for sky-high prices, let alone sacred beasts. How do you hunt them? These sea beasts can hide in the ocean once they encounter danger. But humans can't even use 30% of their strength in the ocean. In addition, there are countless ferocious beasts, half-sacred beasts, spirit beasts, half-sacred beasts, and sacred beasts in the ocean. The people living on the islands will be thankful if they don't get attacked by the sea beasts, let alone going deep into the ocean to hunt them. When Tantayu said this, her expression turned slightly gloomy. In fact, every once in a while, a few years or a few decades, there will be incidents of sea beasts attacking islands in the sea. The islands that can't withstand the attacks will be destroyed by the sea beasts. No one is spared. It's the same for our Dragon Whale Island. Father specially built the Sea Breeze Fortress near the sea. It's responsible for killing the sea beasts that come ashore. Every year, we have to pay the price of thousands of lives to defend the Sea Breeze Fortress. On the continent, humans were the overlords, but in the ocean, the various sea beasts were the overlords. The precarious living environment was the reason why people weren't willing to go out to sea easily. Young miss, it's time for you to practice swordsmanship. Xing Hui and Dan Taiyu were about to continue their conversation when a voice sounded from outside the courtyard. Dan Taiyu had no choice but to stand up. Xing Hui, I'll come and chat with you next time. Sure. Xing Hui nodded. Dan Taiyu and Xiao Xiao left with the guards, while Xing Hui summarized the information he obtained from his conversation with Dan Taiyu. There was detailed information about daily life overseas. It was much more accurate to obtain this information from others than to read it in books. However, the Golden Crow primary energy within Lai Wuyang's body is now under my complete control. It is time to refine this power into the second level of the Great Sun Golden Crow formula and cultivate out my longevity-type primary energy. After saying this, Xing Hui ordered the servants arranged by the city lord to hang up a Do Not Disturb sign. His figure flashed, and he was already in the cultivation room in the courtyard. He had already thoroughly comprehended the Great Sun Golden Crow formula during this period of time. As the Golden Crow divine soul in his spiritual world suddenly became dazzling, the majestic blood and chi in his body boiled at the same time, like lava that had been ignited. When the power of this blood and chi was heated to the extreme, a cluster of flames suddenly ignited from the center of the boiling blood and chi. For a moment, the feeling of the 5 internal organs burning once again filled his body from the inside out. However, Xing Hui had already adapted to the torment of the Golden Crow primary energy during this period of time. Even though this newly born Golden Crow primary energy was emitting surging heat in his body, it still didn't have any effect on his body. Not only that, as this primary energy was born under the burning of the majestic blood and chi, Xing Hui immediately controlled the primary energy that belonged to Lai Wuyang in his body to surge towards the newly born primary energy, so as to prevent this newly ignited primary energy fire from extinguishing. This was the most common problem that all those who broke through to the true chi realm faced. Although the boiling of blood and chi could be cultivated to the true chi realm, if the blood and chi weren't thick enough, the primary energy would be fleeting. Not only would the accumulated blood and chi be destroyed, it would also damage the foundation. In the future, If one wanted to accumulate enough blood and qi to break through to the true qi realm, they would have to pay several times, or even 10 times the price. However, Xing Hui, who had Lai Wuyang's Golden Crow primary energy, didn't have this disadvantage at all. As long as the first primary energy was formed, he only needed to continuously integrate Lai Wuyang's primary energy into his own primary energy. Naturally, he would be able to strengthen his primary energy and stabilize his primary energy realm. As time passed, the primary energy in Xing Hui's body continued to strengthen. Finally, when all of Lai Wuyang's primary energy had been integrated into his newly born primary energy, his primary energy suddenly circulated throughout his body. It was as if he had overtaken Lai Wuyang's primary energy from the Torch Sun scripture and stepped into the realm of minor accomplishment. However, in the end, his primary energy had been integrated with a large amount of primary energy that didn't belong to him. Even if this primary energy had undergone dual cultivation with him, it still needed to be polished before it could be used completely. Therefore, in the next few days, he didn't leave his room and continuously refined his primary energy. By the time he had completely stabilized the Golden Crow primary energy and completely turned it into his own, it had already been a month since he had arrived in North Sea City. Xing Hui used the Primal Chaos Temple to observe his current state. Attack level 37, defense level 32, speed level 35, spirit level 46. In terms of attributes, it was even a level higher than Blazing Glory. However, primary energy was different from aura energy. In a real battle, the difference between primary energy and aura energy would usually require 1 or 2 points of average attributes to make up for it. Next is to cultivate the Golden Crow primary energy and Scarlet Sun primary energy to perfection. In this realm, if one doesn't care about the quality of their primary energy, they can just absorb some fire elemental energy and reach perfection in 1 or 2 months. However, at that time, the aura energy cultivated will definitely drop to Saint grade. Therefore, one can either rely on the Great Sun Golden Crow technique to absorb the sun's true fire day and night, accumulating over time. One can reach perfection in 50 to 60 years. Another method: high-quality fire spirit stones, Golden Crow blood essence, Great Sun essence and other natural treasures. Great Sun essence. The Jin Wu religion had it. In this religion, there were people who made magic tools to absorb the sun's true energy and refine it into essence for the upper echelons of the religion to cultivate. Lai Wuyang's age was slightly younger than Nalan Fei's. The reason he was able to cultivate his divine grade primary energy to perfection so quickly was because of the Great Sun essence. However, he didn't have the ability to take the Great Sun essence yet. As for the Golden Crow blood essence, there was no need to think about it. Then he could only start with the high-quality fire spirit stones. Xing Hui, is Xing Hui King here? At this moment, a voice came from outside the door. Su Guowei. Xing Hui responded, tidied up, and left the cultivation room. Outside the door, the handsome guard Su Zhongming, who was wearing leather armor, was already waiting with Xing Hui's maids. Su Guowei, this is Xing Hui King. The city lord has ordered all guest elders to head to Sea Breeze Fort and assist the garrison in resisting the sea beasts. Xing Hui was a little surprised. I have already reported to the city lord's mansion that I need 2 months to cultivate in seclusion. Right now, only half of the time has passed. If the city lord really wants to gather all the guest elders to head to Sea Breeze Fort to resist the sea beasts, shouldn't he start with the other guest elders? Su Zhongming knew that Xing Hui had been cultivating in seclusion for the past few days. He smiled bitterly. Xing Hui King, don't you feel that the guest area is especially quiet today? Not only the guest area, but the entire city lord's mansion seems to be more deserted? Hearing Su Zhongming's words, Xing Hui immediately sensed in the entire city lord's mansion. He sensed that there was only one spirit refining cultivator. Even the aura of true qi cultivators could be counted with one's fingers. What happened? In the past month, the sea beasts have been attacking Sea Breeze Fort crazily. The scale is not inferior to the sea beast tide. The city lord has sent reinforcements time and time again, but they were unable to turn the situation around. Currently, not only have all the guest elders headed to Sea Breeze Fort to resist the sea beasts, even the city lord himself has personally gone to the front line to command the situation. However, half a day ago, the city lord sent an order to mobilize everyone except for the most basic guards to head to Sea Breeze Fort. Sing Hui King is part of the last batch. Sea Beast Tide? Sing Hui had learned about the terror of the Sea Beast Tide from his conversation with Dan Taiyu. He immediately asked, "The Sea Beast Tide has erupted? It's getting restless. The other cities along the coast have been attacked, but it's not considered an outbreak. However, the Sea Beast's attacks on Sea Breeze Fort are especially strong. The number of Immortal Stage Level 3 Sea Beasts and Spirit Beasts in other cities can be counted on one's fingers. However, the pressure that Sea Breeze Fort is facing is several times greater than the other forts. This is why Sea Breeze Fort is in danger." Su Zhongming did not explain further. "Sing Hui King, please prepare to head to the spaceport immediately. I'll inform the others. In half an hour, the warship will depart." Sing Hui nodded and did not ask further. Most of his belongings were in his personal storage. After putting on a rank 3 divine weapon to decorate his appearance, he headed straight to the spaceport. At this moment, there were only 6 warships left in the spaceport. Looking down from the spaceport, it was obvious that the atmosphere in Beihai City had become more tense. Even the number of pedestrians on the streets had decreased by a lot. When Sing Hui stepped onto the waiting warship, there were already 300 to 400 people on it. Among these people, most of them were in the mortal realm. There were less than 100 people in the awakening realm and true Qi realm. There was only one person in the spirit refining realm. It was Wu Yu, the manager who had followed beside Dan Taiyu previously. Seeing Sing Hui, Wu Yu only nodded at him. He seemed to have a lot on his mind. The Sea Beast Tide was a huge disaster for any island. Not to mention Beihai City. Even forces like Dragon Whale Island had been destroyed by the Sea Beast Tide more than once. Seeing the Sea Beast's strange movements, no one dared to confirm whether this was a sign that the Sea Beast Tide was about to erupt. The warship waited for half an hour. With a slight rumble, it quickly rushed into the void and shuttled through the clouds. After shuttling for more than an hour, a huge fort built on the coast appeared in front of them. But at this moment, the majesty of the fortress couldn't attract the attention of the people on the warship at all. The eyes of the 300 to 400 people on the warship immediately fell on the countless sea beasts surrounding the fortress, and their faces turned pale in an instant. Chapter 101. Sea Beasts. Endless sea beasts stretched to the bottom of the sea as far as the eye could see. Countless sea beasts that were adept at controlling water raised monstrous waves, constantly crashing against the towering Sea Breeze Fortress on the shore, causing dozens of kilometers around the Sea Breeze Fortress to become a swamp. The Sea Breeze Fortress itself was like a reef standing in the middle of a tsunami, tenaciously and firmly defending. It seemed like it would be crushed by the next wave at any time. Why are there so many sea beasts? There are probably no less than tens of thousands of sea beasts here, right? That's a kraken, a class 3 dire beast at the spirit beast level. And there are actually 4 of them. Oh my god, is there a beast tide outbreak? And the target of this beast tide outbreak is actually our Dragon Whale Island. Uncontrollable exclamations came from the warship. Alright, enough nonsense, get ready for battle. Wu Yu stared at the Sea Breeze Fortress that was almost drowned by the sea beasts with a solemn expression and shouted. After witnessing the tragic battle in the Sea Breeze Fortress, he finally understood why the Castellan actually summoned the last batch of forces from North Sea City to the Sea Breeze Fortress. The entire Sea Breeze Fortress was in imminent danger now. If there were no reinforcements, it would be completely destroyed in 1 or 2 days at most. Even if there were reinforcements, they would only be able to hold on for 6 or 7 days from 1 or 2 days. Speaking of repelling the sea beasts, looking at the countless sea beasts outside the fortress, Wu Yu's scalp tingled. Be careful, sea winged serpents. At this moment, a true energy realm martial artist shouted in horror from the deck. Among the sea beasts below, snake-like creatures that were more than 10 meters long and had thin wings suddenly shot out like arrows from a bow, heading straight for the battleship that had yet to land in the void. The sea-winged serpents were a type of spiritual beast. It was said that they had a trace of the sacred beast tongue serpent's bloodline in their bodies. Their catapultability was amazing, and they could shoot up to 1,000 meters in the air. Moreover, their wings had a certain ability to stay in the air. As long as they reached adulthood, they would have the combat power of a mortal level 1, which was equivalent to a Class 1 sea beast. There were hundreds of sea-winged serpents that shot out from the sea beasts. Most of them had reached adulthood, and there were some Class 2 and even Class 3 high-ranking sea-winged serpents. Be careful. 2 rank 3 sea-winged serpents. I'll deal with one of them. As for the other one, Su Guowei, you take some people to surround it. Everyone else, attack the other sea-winged serpents. Those below the awakening realm, use the crossbows and cannons. We can't let them destroy our warship. Tell the control room to prepare for a forced landing. Wu Yu hastily ordered. Yes. The many guards who received the order responded loudly and quickly went about their duties. Returning cloud reflection Zhou Xianin, the 5 of you follow me. Su Guowei and Su Zhongming loudly shouted and called 5 true Qi realm martial artists to rush towards the 3rd order spirit beast. Rank 3 spirit beasts. Their 3 attributes are equivalent to humans who have cultivated spirit grade aura Qi. However, compared to spirit beasts with lower intelligence, humans are proficient in divine armors, sword and fist techniques. In a battle of the same rank, a spirit refining cultivator, who has cultivated spirit grade aura Qi, can easily defeat a rank 3 spirit beast. But 6 true Qi realm martial artists. Even if 6 true Qi realm martial artists formed a battle formation, it would still be extremely dangerous for them to face a rank 3 spirit beast. As long as they were hit by the sea-winged serpent, they would inevitably suffer serious injuries. If they were not careful, they might even lose their lives. Many true Qi realm and awakening realm martial artists rushed towards the sea-winged serpents that were ejected onto the warship. Many mortal realm martial artists also quickly controlled the crossbows and cannons and began to shoot towards the incoming sea-winged serpents. However, the crossbows and cannons were inconvenient to change direction, and the cannon's firing speed was slow. The effect was not significant, and there were still sea-winged serpents that rushed onto the warship. If they fell into an area with an awakening realm martial artist, they would be able to resist. However, if they fell into a group of mortal realm martial artists, these sea-winged serpents would immediately set off a bloody massacre. The number is too many, especially the rank 3 spirit beasts. There are at least 80 or 90 of them. After killing a rank 1 sea-winged serpent, Xing Hui took the time to look at the densely packed group of spirit beasts below the warship. 80 or 90 rank 3 spirit beasts were equivalent to 80 or 90 spirit refining realm martial artists. Even if spirit beasts and sea beasts were weaker than humans, to face such a lineup, there would at least be 30 or 40 spirit refining realm martial artists. But according to his observation, there were only 8 spirit refining realm martial artists in Beihai City. Among them, the mayor of Beihai City, the monk, and Wu Yu, who did not participate in the Battle of Haifeng Fortress. In this kind of battlefield, if I only reveal my true Qi realm cultivation, it would be difficult to protect myself. Xing Hui looked for a moment, and the true Qi attached to the sword suddenly became incomparably hot. Seeing that the rank 3 spirit beast sent Yun Gui flying and smashing a wooden barrel on the deck, Xing Hui no longer hesitated. Like a meteor, he rushed in front of the spirit beast. The spirit beast sensed the danger and reacted quickly. However, Xing Hui's sneak attack was equivalent to a sneak attack. When he attacked, he had already calculated all the changes of the spirit beast. With one sword, he sealed all the escape routes of the spirit beast and brazenly pierced into the head of the rank 3 sea-winged serpent. Qi! Blood splattered. In the next moment, the blazing scarlet yang true Qi burst out from Xing Hui's body and surged along the sword into the head of the sea-winged serpent. Before the rank 3 sea-winged serpent could let out a scream, the insides of its head were burned to ashes. A large amount of blazing flames mixed with surging heat waves and fresh blood burst out, shocking Su Zhongming, Ying Zhao, Zhou Xianin and the rest who were surrounding the sea-winged serpent. Xing Hui nodded towards Su Zhongming and did not say anything. His figure flew, and in a blink of an eye, he killed another rank 2 sea-winged serpent that had fallen into the group of martial artists. Although the Scarlet Yang True Qi was overbearing and blazing, it was not weak in terms of speed. Man and sword as one. It was as if he had turned into a resplendent stream of light and directly collided with the rank 2 sea-winged serpent. Flames burst out, and the 14 to 15 meter long sea-winged serpent was beheaded by his sword. The huge serpent head fell to the ground, and before the blood could spurt out, it was already burnt by the flames. Seeing this scene, Su Zhongming, who was still in shock, came back to his senses and immediately widened his eyes. That's Xing Hui King? Ying Zhao, Zhou Xianin and the others also surrounded him. It's Xing Hui King hiss. What an overbearing and tyrannical true qi. In front of Xing Hui King, the rank 2 sea-winged serpent could not even last one round. Moreover, Xing Hui King is using true qi and not earth qi, right? The power of his true qi is actually so astonishing. Ordinary true qi, or even spirit-grade true qi, would not be able to reach such a level. Could it be saint-grade true qi? Zhou Xianin widened his eyes. Saint-grade true qi. Just these 4 words once again shook everyone's brain. Cultivators from overseas have always pursued realms. Just like a divine-grade true qi cultivator, even if he had just succeeded in cultivating divine-grade true qi, he would still be able to win against an ordinary true qi cultivator. But once the ordinary true qi cultivator breaks through to the spirit-refining realm, the situation would be completely reversed. As for the difficulty of cultivation, cultivating divine-grade true qi was obviously more difficult than cultivating qi into earth qi. Under such circumstances, the number of true qi cultivators on Dragon Whale Island who had cultivated divine-grade true qi could be counted with one's fingers. And now there was another Xing Hui. Xing Hui revealed the power of his Scarlet Yang True Qi and wantonly rampaged through the horde of beasts. In addition, he had a rank 3 divine weapon from Luli Island in his hand. With the combination of the two, ordinary rank 1 and rank 2 sea-winged serpents were simply not his opponents and were easily killed by him. His killing efficiency was comparable to more than half of the people on the warship. Such a stunning performance naturally fell into the eyes of Wu Yu, who was fighting with the rank 3 sea-winged serpent. His eyes immediately lit up. Good, like I said, to be able to withstand the corrosion of divine-grade true qi. How bad would the quality of true qi in his body be? I was guessing that Xing Hui King might have cultivated divine-grade true qi. However, with his loose cultivator background, cultivating divine-grade true qi was too inconceivable. It was hard for me to believe. Now it seems that it was true. Divine-grade true qi. Not only has it reached divine-grade true qi, but from the blazing and overbearing might of this true qi, it is at least at the small success stage, and might even be at the great success stage. Without a real confrontation, it would be very difficult for ordinary people to sense the true quality of the other party's true qi. They could only make a deduction based on its might. Although Xing Hui's Scarlet Yang True Qi was not at the small success stage, but with the aura of the Golden Crow True Qi, its might was no weaker than that of a great success stage True Qi. Thus, Wu Yu's judgment could be said to be very accurate. Xing Hui King, lend me a hand. Let's work together and kill this sea-winged serpent. Okay. Xing Hui killed more than a dozen rank 1 and rank 2 sea-winged serpents. After slightly relieving the pressure on the deck, he no longer wasted his strength on ordinary sea-winged serpents. Immediately, he flew up like a shooting star and instantly arrived behind the rank 3 sea-winged serpent. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Wu Yu's true qi erupted. Even if his true qi was not sharp and fierce, and was not good at fighting, it still suppressed the rank 3 sea-winged serpent that wanted to struggle fiercely. Xing Hui took the opportunity to behead the sea-winged serpent. Good sword. Wu Yu's gaze lingered on the sword in Xing Hui's hand for a while. He smiled and said, I didn't expect Xing Hui King to have this kind of ability, to be able to cultivate divine-grade true qi. I was wrong. Manager Wu, you flatter me. Now is not the time to talk. Let's kill the other sea-winged serpents first. Okay. Wu Yu nodded seriously, and the two of them once again joined the battle. With the two spirit-refining cultivators attacking, more than half of the sea-winged serpents were quickly killed. The other sea-winged serpents also sensed the danger and jumped off the warship to escape. In this regard, those who did not dare to ride their flying beasts and fight with the sea-winged serpents could only watch as they returned to the army of sea beasts. Recharge the cannons, aim at the rank 3 sea-winged serpents, and use half of the spirit origin stones we brought. Boom! Kill as many as you can. After chasing away the sea-winged serpents, Wuyu relied on the warship's advantage in the air and quickly gave the order. In a moment, the 6 cannons on the warship emitted a strong energy fluctuation. After charging, they shot out dazzling light towards the rank 3 sea-winged serpents. The sound of violent explosions immediately resounded outside Sea Breeze Fortress. Chapter 102. Rumble. The 6 cannons bombarded the warship for more than 10 minutes, consuming more than half of the spirit stones on the warship. Depending on the number and grade of energy stones used, the giant spirit cannons could unleash a power equivalent to a rank 1 to rank 3 expert's full-strength attack. Just now, Wu Kuang had unleashed his full power. Every shot was equivalent to a spirit-refining expert's full-strength attack. Naturally, the sea beasts were covered in blood, and the number of sea beasts that died directly or indirectly was no less than 100. Compared to the speed of humans, this kind of war machine was the true harvester of life. When the warship had consumed more than half of the spirit stones, there was no longer any meaning for the warship to stay in the void. Immediately, they stopped at a simple and dilapidated port at the top of Sea Breeze Fort. This spaceport built in Sea Breeze Fortress was relatively small and could only accommodate 8 warships. Currently, 6 warships were docked here, but without exception, all of them were damaged and broken. One of them was even on the verge of breaking down, and whether or not it could fly back to the blue sky was a problem. Although Tsing Hui's warship was damaged by the sea-wing serpent's attack, and there were even large holes on the deck, it could still be considered the best among the warships. Elder Wu. As soon as the warship docked, a man whose armor was stained with blood led a group of people to welcome them. He was one of the vice-captains of the Dragon Eagle Squad Eagle Wing. Let's cut to the chase. You've already seen the situation outside the fortress. There are already 3 holes in the southern wall, and a section of the western wall has also collapsed. Those sea monsters can attack Sea Breeze Fortress at any time. Once we lose the geographical advantage of Sea Breeze Fortress, I'm afraid that all of us here will die here. Therefore, I'll immediately reorganize the people you brought with you and send them to the front lines. As for you, come with me to see the city lord. Okay. Wu Yu nodded without hesitation. At the same time, he waved his hand to the people behind him. Naturally, there would be people who would lead them to the perilous defensive position. However, after a while he seemed to have thought of something. Tsing Hui, stay behind. We will go see the city lord together. Tsing Hui nodded but did not say anything. On the other hand, the Eagle Wing looked at Tsing Hui in surprise. He didn't know why Wu Yu would allow a true Energy Realm guest elder to attend such a high-level meeting. Eagle Wing, you've already arrived at the Sea Breeze Fort a month ago. Have you investigated why so many sea beasts are charging towards our Sea Breeze Fort one after another? On the other hand, the number of sea beasts in the other cities is less than 1/10 of ours. Eldest Miss has already sent people to investigate, but they only know that these sea beasts want to go up the Dragon Roaring River and head inland. They haven't found anything else. The Dragon Roaring River is the largest river in our Dragon Whale country. If the sea beasts really enter the Dragon Roaring River from here, the thousands of kilometers along the way will definitely be plunged into misery and suffering. The Eagle Wing said and shook his head. Although we haven't found out the reason why these sea beasts want to go to the Dragon Song River, we can confirm that there is a lord behind these sea beasts who is urging them to attack our Dragon Whale Kingdom. Lord, Wu Yu's expression suddenly became serious. The number of sea beasts attacking our Sea Breeze Fort has already reached 30 to 40,000. There are close to 100 rank 3 sea beasts. If there is a lord behind these sea beasts, it's either a rank 3 sacred beast or a rank 4 sea beast. Rank 4 sea beasts are still manageable. If it's a rank 3 sacred beast, then we're in big trouble. A rank 3 sacred beast is only a cub. There must be a mature sacred beast behind it. And a mature sacred beast, the weakest one, is equivalent to a rank 7 sacred beast. If it's an outstanding one with a powerful bloodline, it won't be difficult for it to grow into a sacred beast, or even a dominator of the sea or a supreme beast. Have you asked for help from the nearby cities? It's useless. It's not just our sea breeze fort. All the places with coastal rivers on the Dragon Whale Island have been attacked. It's just that those places are not as strong as our sea breeze fort. But in this way, those forts have an excuse to refuse to provide us with reinforcements. What did the king say? He sent 3 envoys yesterday. When the sea beasts attacked, 1 died, 1 was injured, and 1 escaped. The eagle wing's expression was unsightly. In the end, he added in a mocking tone. Of course, when he said that 1 escaped, he used the excuse of reporting the situation to the king. As they spoke, the 3 of them had already arrived at the tower at the front of the fort. At the tower, Dan Tating's body was also covered in blood. It was obvious that at this crucial moment, even he, the city lord, had to personally go down to fight with the sea beasts. Other than Dan Tating, there were a few true chi and spirit-refining cultivators present. What surprised Xing Hui was that even Dan Taiyu was present. Seeing Xing Hui's arrival, Dan Taiyu even gave him a playful wink as a greeting. Wu Yu, you've come at the right time. Seeing Wu Yu, Dan Tating nodded his head solemnly. However, when he saw Xing Hui behind Wu Yu, he was somewhat puzzled, but he did not say anything. Since Xing Hui was brought here by Wu Yu, he naturally had his reasons. Tan Tai Ting immediately opened up a river map. Sea Breeze Fortress is not easy to defend. If we continue to defend it, not to mention that the walls of Sea Breeze Fortress can withstand a few waves of attacks from the sea beasts, even our guards won't be able to hold on for much longer without rest. We have to let some sea beasts enter Dragon Chant River. On one hand, we need to follow the sea beasts to see what they're planning. On the other hand, we need to lengthen the battle line, allowing us to have a certain amount of space. Let the sea beasts enter the Dragon Chant River. Wu Yu's face changed greatly. Once we open the river gate, it will not be easy to close it again. If we're not careful, those sea beasts will swarm in, and at that time, the river is different from the sea. In the sea beasts can control the water to fight, and their battle strength is fierce. However, in the river, although the water is also torrential, it is not as abundant as the sea. If we can think of a way to lure them to the river bank, their strength will be reduced, and it will be much easier for us to deal with them. During this time, I have already evacuated all the residents within 300 kilometers of the Dragon Chant River. As long as we ensure that the battlefield is controlled within 300 kilometers, it won't cause too much of a disaster. Speaking till here, Dan Tating's tone slightly paused. Now, the most important tasks are 3. First, who will continue to guard Sea Breeze Fort? Second, who will be responsible for closing the river gate? Last, who will be responsible for leading the troops to kill those sea beasts that enter the Dragon Chant River? As you command, City Lord. Leave the task of leading the troops to kill those sea beasts that enter the Dragon Chant River to me. At this time, a slightly cold voice came from downstairs. Then, a woman with a ponytail, dressed in silver armor, and holding a long sword that was as tall as a person strode over. Although this woman was wearing a full body armor, it was not as delicate and beautiful as an ordinary woman wearing a long skirt. However, her body and face were exquisite, and she was tall and slender, filled with a kind of valiant and formidable aura. Eldest Miss. Seeing this woman, apart from Dan Tating, everyone in the room saluted at the same time. Even Wu Yu was no exception. Dan Tating, the eldest daughter of North Sea City's City Lord Dan Tating. Among the 3 children, she was the only one who had cultivated to the spirit-refining realm. Moreover, she had cultivated spirit rank Aura Chi. You are responsible for leading the troops to kill those sea beasts that enter the Dragon Chant River. Not bad. Dan Taiying's gaze swept across everyone, and stopped on Xing Hui for a moment. However, his gaze quickly landed on Dan Tating again. Once the river gate is opened, it will be extremely difficult to close it again. Only the strongest among us have the hope of closing the river gate. In terms of cultivation, none of us can compare to you, Father. Thus, you are the best candidate to close the river gate. As for Haiphong Fortress, let Steward Wu take charge. Steward Wu's understanding of everyone is not weaker than any of us. It is not impossible for him to command the battle. I can't guarantee the number of sea beasts that enter the Dragon Chant River. It is too dangerous for you to go kill them. Other than me, there is no other suitable candidate. Dan Taiying said firmly. If Father is not at ease, send the eagle wing to me. With us 2 spirit-refining cultivators, as long as we are careful, any sea beasts or spirit beasts can be killed. Let Dong Bo bring his team, and go with you. In your team, there is also Yu. Both of my daughters are in there. I must ensure your safety. Dan Tating said, and looked at Dan Taiyu. No need. Closing the river gate is the most dangerous part of the plan. We only have 8 spirit-refining cultivators here. Among them, Wang Fu is seriously injured and is unable to fight. That means there are only 7 people left. 7 people, excluding the 2 of us, there are only 5 left. The 5 of us have to guard Haiphong Fortress and open and close the river gate. Our manpower is already very tight. How can I bring Dong Bo along? But, as long as Father closes the river gate in time, and does not let too many rank 3 spirit beasts in, we will not be in danger. Thus the key is still on you. Before Dan Tating could speak, he was interrupted by Dan Taiying. At this time, Wu Yu suddenly said, let Xing Hui King and Big Mrs. Team go together. Xing Hui King? Wu Yu's words made everyone's gaze fall on Xing Hui, the true Qi realm guest elder. Wu Kuang did not stop there either. He continued, the guest elder of Qing Su is only a true Qi cultivator, but he cultivates Saint-grade true Qi. According to my observations, his Saint-grade true Qi has already reached great mastery. His battle prowess is no weaker than any cultivator who has cultivated Qi and formed energy. With the guest elder of Qing Su, your group will be equivalent to having 3 great spirit-refining cultivators. Your safety will be guaranteed. Is this true? Large success holy grade Qi. And, as soon as Wu Yu finished speaking, Dan Taiying and Dan Tating were moved. Even Dan Taiyu looked at Xing Hui in surprise. She had only managed to cultivate Saint-grade true Qi by chance, so her progress after that was extremely slow. On the other hand, not only had Qing Su cultivated Saint-grade true Qi, he had even reached great accomplishment and great perfection. If he could take another step forward and condense Saint-grade true Qi, his future was limitless. Absolutely true, Wu Yu said seriously. Good. Tan Tai Ting agreed heavily. Guest elder of Qing Su, if you and my 2 daughters can return safely, I will promote you to an upper guest elder of North Sea City. You will be free to read all the records in the city, and you will have the right to purchase some of the precious resources on Dragon Whale Island. I will do my best. Xing Hui nodded slightly. His golden crow Qi had just formed and needed to be tempered by actual combat. There is no time to lose. Let's go and prepare to let the sea beasts enter the river. Chapter 103. Sea Breeze Fort was in a critical situation and could not be delayed. The group did not dare to delay and quickly divided up the work and took their positions. Among them, Xing Hui followed Dan Taiying. Together with Dan Taiyu, the Eagle Wing, and 130 True Energy Realm and Awakening Realm experts, a total of 134 people went straight to the inland of Dragon Chant River. With Sea Breeze Fort as the center, the area within a radius of 50 to 60 kilometers had already been flooded by the monstrous waves caused by the sea beasts. It was impossible to defend, let alone fight and retreat at the same time. Fortunately, Dragon Chant River was 100 kilometers deep, and there was a line of defense similar to a dam. In addition to defending against the torrent, it could also block the fish that escaped from Sea Breeze Fort. However, compared to the Sea Breeze Fortress, the walls and defensive facilities of this place paled in comparison. There was only one defensive line, and there were only 6 arrow towers and a pitiful 1 cannon turret. Due to the crisis at the Sea Breeze Fortress, More than half of the garrison had been transferred to the Sea Breeze Fortress. There were less than 200 soldiers left, and the crossbows and spirit source stones could only last for 3 hours of battle. We don't have many people, so we need to finish the battle quickly. Dan Taiying assigned the task and looked at Dan Taiyu at the same time. You have awakened the bloodline of the winged dragon, so you are very sensitive to the flow of water. If these sea beasts really break through our line of defense, you should follow them and see what they are up to. At that time, you can act according to your discretion. Yes, Dan Taiyu replied seriously. She had coincidentally cultivated holy rank true qi. Although her true qi was just at the initial stage, in terms of combat power, she was not weaker than those veteran true energy realm experts. Xinghui King, I'll leave your safety to you, Dan Taiying said, and looked at Xinghui at the end. Xinghui nodded slightly. Immediately, Dan Taiying commanded the group again to build defensive fortifications. At the same time, he asked the Eagle Wing to lead the troops 30 kilometers upstream, planning to block the sea beasts layer by layer. Time passed quickly while everyone was preparing. Soon half an hour had passed. Young miss, they're here. The first wave of sea beasts is about to arrive. Not long after, the voice of a true Qi realm cultivator, who was in charge of watching from the front, came from afar. At the same time, the sound of thousands of horses galloping could be heard. The Dragon Cry River was the largest river on the Dragon Whale Island, with an average width of 4 kilometers. Even though the dam was located in a relatively narrow area, it was still 2 kilometers wide. Many sea beasts rushed into the Dragon Cry River with torrential waves, causing huge waves that were dozens of meters tall to rise. If it wasn't for the fact that a lot of the water had overflowed and was diverted in other directions, these huge waves might even reach over 100 meters. Tantaiyin looked at the monstrous waves before looking at the dam, that was only 60 meters tall. She sighed and said, "Prepare for battle." Immediately, whether it was true Qi realm experts or ordinary soldiers, each and every one of them took up their positions with pale faces. Their faces were filled with fear as they looked towards the earth-shattering waves. Roar! Countless horrifying sea beasts were mixed in the waves, sweeping up the torrential waves and surging over. Finally, when the sea beasts arrived, the waves they had swept over crashed into the dam for the first time. For a moment, the entire earth seemed to shake violently. Countless waves burst forth and splashed into the air, forming pillars of water that were over 100 meters tall. In the face of this huge wave, more than half of the 60-meter-tall dam was instantly submerged. Countless sea beasts took the opportunity to rush up the dam with seawater and river water and wreak havoc. Kill everyone. It's time to serve the city lord. Behind us is the place where we grew up. If we retreat, our great home will be completely destroyed by these despicable vicious beasts. We can't allow that to happen. Fight! Fight to the death. All sorts of motivational roars came from the mouths of the crowd. Facing the sea beasts that pounced forward, many ordinary soldiers instantly erupted with astonishing courage. Using all sorts of war equipment, they quickly surrounded the sea beasts. Unfortunately, the difference between mortals and the awakening realm sea beasts was too great. Even if the sea beasts were slightly weaker than ordinary awakening realm cultivators, they were still not something that they could withstand. A single attack from a Type 1 sea beast was enough to take the lives of a few soldiers. If it wasn't for the fact that there were many defensive facilities here, the 200 soldiers would only need 4 or 5 Type 1 sea beasts to wipe them out. Xing Hui's gaze searched through the sea beasts for a moment. In the next moment he leaped forward. Billowing heat waves erupted from his body, causing the surrounding seawater to evaporate, forming a mist that could be seen with the naked eye. Under the mist, he was like a ray of light, directly flying past a rank 2 sea beast. When the sword light dissipated, the sea beast was already decapitated. Good, Dan Taiying shouted. Only when she saw Qing Su kill a rank 2 sea beast with a single slash did she truly believe what Wu Kuang said. This inland cultivator, who looked even younger than her, really had the battle prowess of a spirit-refining realm cultivator. However, now was not the time to watch Xing Hui display his strength. With a shout, she immediately entered the battlefield. Her figure flipped, and the sword light flickered. So be it if it was just a second-rank sea beast. But regular first-rank sea beasts were not her opponent at all. Compared to Qing Su, who was holding back, her killing efficiency was clearly faster. Not far from her, Dan Taiyu, who originally looked weak, was also extraordinary. She had awakened the bloodline of the winged dragon and cultivated heavy water true energy, which gave her the ability to control water. Therefore, before the sea beasts could reach her, she would have already used her true energy to control the water and split it apart, causing the sea beasts to be separated from the water, greatly reducing their battle prowess. Although her efficiency in killing sea beasts was relatively slow, with the help of the two true energy realm experts, she was able to kill second-rank sea beasts. Her efficiency in killing second-rank sea beasts was 50% of eagle wings when they were fighting in the sea breeze stronghold. With Xing Hui, Dan Taiying, Dan Taiyu, and the others going all out to kill the sea beasts, this wave of over 100 sea beasts was quickly killed by them. Seeing that the sea beasts were stopped, Dan Taiying also let out a sigh of relief. However, this sigh of relief did not last for long. Immediately, a Zhenqi realm cultivator rushed over and reported, "Big Miss, the city lord has sent news. The sea beasts that open the gate at Longyin River are too crazy. There are a total of 24 rank 3 sea beasts, and 3,000 rank 1 and 2 sea beasts rushing into Longyin River." What? 24 rank 3 sea beasts, and 3,000 rank 1 and 2 sea beasts? Hearing this number, Dan Taiying's face suddenly became ugly. The true energy realm experts behind her could not help but reveal looks of horror in their eyes. More than 3,000 rank 1 and 2 sea beasts. If these sea beasts were blocked by the tall walls of Sea Breeze Fort, it would be better. However, if they were allowed to enter the river, the humans would lose their geographical advantage. If they wanted to stop the sea beasts, they would need at least a third of their numbers. In other words, there would be 8 spirit refining realm cultivators, and more than 1,000 Zhenqi and awakening realm cultivators. This was already the total strength of the entire North Sea city. Is there a second line of defense at Longyin River? Xing Hui's expression became serious. 24 rank 3 sea beasts swarmed up. Unless he used the divine technique and relied on the Crimson Dragon sword, he would not have the strength to fight them head-on. The second line of defense is 160 kilometers away from here. However, compared to this dam, that dam is slightly inferior. Dan Taiying said. Then there's no other way. Kill as many as we can and do our best, Xing Hui said slowly. Dan Taiying was silent for a moment before finally nodding his head. Soon, rumbling sounds could be heard once again, followed by a wave that was much larger than the previous one. Even if the current had already overflowed the river surface and dyed the surrounding wilderness into a swamp, it was still unable to subdue the terrifying wave that was more than 10 meters tall, as well as the sea beasts that came with it. All of you run for your lives. Dan Taiying looked at the sea beasts in the huge wave and said bitterly to the mortal cultivators behind him, "Young miss, go, the further the better." Those viscera refining and blood transformation realm cultivators glanced at the terrifying sea beasts in the huge wave, as well as the incoming wave that was more than 10 meters tall. In the end, they did not have the courage to fight against these terrifying enemies that exceeded the strength of mortals. They gritted their teeth and said, "Young miss, lords, please take care." Then one by one, they rushed to the back of the dam, wanting to climb up a mountain not far from the dam. "Get ready," Dan Taiying said in a low voice. In fact, she did not need to remind them. Thousands of powerful sea beasts swept up the terrifying wave, like an ancient beast that was constantly approaching, and approaching again. The sea beasts had not yet arrived, but the terrifying pressure that they were emitting was already so strong that it made the dozens of North Sea City experts in the dam feel suffocated. A few of the weaker young experts who had just awakened their divine weapons were trembling as their eyes were filled with fear. Unfortunately, many sea beasts would not stop because of the fear of humans. Finally, the terrifying wave that was swept up by the sea beasts crashed into the dam. The moment it was blocked by the dam, the earth-shattering impact erupted, and splashed out 100-meter-tall pillar of water. Accompanied by a series of earth-shaking tremors, the dam suddenly cracked open. Huge cracks filled the surface of the dam, and then continued to spread and combine. Finally, the 60-meter-tall dam was completely torn apart. Two experts who happened to be in this area were hit by the waves, and they let out shrill screams as they fell into the river. In an instant, they were swarmed by dozens of sea beasts and eaten up. The dam has collapsed. Frightened voices rang out from the chaotic crowd. Dan Taiying watched as a large number of sea beasts tore apart the dam's defensive line, passed through the gap, swept up the gradually receding water, and rushed towards the deeper parts of the Dragon Chant River. Damn it, I can only pin my hopes on the final plan. Xing Hui, you and Yuer lead 10 people, and catch up with these sea beasts. Find out what they want to do in the inland. Everyone else, kill them. Block these sea beasts here for as long as you can. I'll go alone. Xing Hui said. The others may not be able to keep up with my speed. The others don't have to go, but Yuer must go. Yuer has awakened the bloodline of the winged dragon and cultivated the saint-grade heavy water true qi. She can keep up with you. In addition, she has the ability to control water and is very sensitive to water energy. With her around, it will be easier for you to find out the true purpose of these sea beasts. After Dan Taiying finished speaking, he waved his hand and said, That's it. Everyone else, follow me. Xing Hui looked at Dan Taiying. He guessed that Dan Taiying was planning to defend this place to the death. He wanted Dan Taiyu to follow him to chase after the sea beasts, so that he could take Dan Taiyu away from this place. Shaking his head, Xing Hui didn't explain in detail. He said to Dan Taiyu, Let's go. Then, following the Dragon Chant River, they chased after the sea beasts that had rushed over the dam first. Chapter 104. Xing Hui, will Big Sister be alright? Dan Taiyu asked worriedly. Although the dam has been torn apart, the fortifications can still be of some use. Moreover, Miss Dan Taiying is an expert who has cultivated spirit-grade stellar energy, so she won't be in any danger for the time being. Thus, we need to figure out the purpose of these sea beasts charging inland as soon as possible. Only then can we deal with the crisis of North Sea City. Dan Taiyu nodded. The two of them quickly ran, following the giant wave that was heading toward the interior of Dragon Roar River. After a while, Dan Taiyu said, Xing Hui, I just sensed that one of those sea beasts is somewhat unusual. A lot of water origin energy is spontaneously converging toward it, as if its affinity with water is higher than mine. Its affinity with water is higher than yours. Xing Hui's gaze turned to the wave that Dan Taiyu was pointing at. You've awakened the winged dragon bloodline, so your affinity with water isn't something that ordinary sea beasts or spirit-grade sea beasts can compare to. For it to surpass you in water affinity, even if it's not a sacred beast, it must be a half-sacred beast that has awakened its sacred beast bloodline. Half-sacred beast. There was actually a half-sacred beast in that wave. Looks like we've found the right person. Follow that half-sacred beast, and we'll definitely be able to figure out their purpose. Dan Taiyu nodded heavily. The giant wave surged. Hundreds of sea beasts swept the giant wave across the dam, and after charging for 40 kilometers, they suddenly changed direction and headed for the branch of Dragon Roar River. That's Luchuan River. Luchuan River is only a small river, and it's not suitable for sea beasts to display their strength. Why did these sea beasts abandon Dragon Roar River and head for Luchuan River instead? Dan Taiyu cried out in alarm. Their purpose isn't to enter the interior of Dragon Whale Island and wreak havoc, but something else. Naturally, they won't head along Dragon Roar River. Let's follow them. As Xing Hui spoke, he stepped into the territory of Luchuan. Compared to the Dragon Chant River, the flow of Luchuan River was much less. The sea beasts that rushed into Luchuan River were wrapped in huge waves as they moved forward. As the flow of water decreased, many sea beasts were almost half exposed on the surface of the river. These sea beasts had to line up to pass through some of the narrower areas. Seeing that the water flow had slowed down by a large amount, Xing Hui no longer watched. His figure flew, and when he flew past some of the nearby sea beasts, Sword chi exploded out. Surging heat tore through space and slashed into the bodies of the sea beasts that were closer to the river bank. As he moved forward, he secretly killed the sea beasts. Although the efficiency was slow, it was better than nothing. Where is that? Xing Hui and Dan Taiyu chased after them for over 30 kilometers. When they saw a small lake in front of them, they hurriedly asked. That seems to be the Jade Water Lake. It's a small lake that's not very famous. It's said that even ordinary big fish find it hard to survive there. An ordinary small lake. Xing Hui stared at the small lake for a while. The small lake was 1 li in diameter, similar to a large pond. There was nothing special about it. But contrary to Xing Hui's expectations, when the sea beasts passed by the Jade Water Lake, they did not move forward. Instead, they roared and directly charged into the lake. And almost as these sea beasts killed their way into the periphery of the Jade Water Lake, a low roar suddenly came from the lake. Soon after, a giant beast the size of a small mountain emerged from the lake. Behind it, a giant snake covered in large amounts of scales suddenly attacked, instantly biting off the throat of one of the sea beasts. This is... Dan Taiyu could not help but cry out when she saw the fierce beast, that was 3 to 4 meters in diameter, emerge from the center of the lake. Turtle and snake in one body. Xuanwu. This is one of the 6 saints, Xuanwu. Xuanwu. Xing Hui also stared at the small creature in the center of the lake, his expression grave. Xuanwu. It was a top water-type sacred beast. It was one of the 6 saints, along with the wood-type azure dragon, metal-type white tiger, fire-type vermilion bird, earth-type gauchen, and wind-type soaring serpent, and represented the peak of the 6 attributes of sacred beasts. This was a terrifying creature that could be called a semi-divine beast. Although Xuanwu took a long time to reach adulthood, once it reached adulthood, it would immediately possess battle prowess comparable to a peak saint. And this Xuanwu in front of them, based on its ability to stir up trouble, was clearly just a cub. This kind of peak sacred beast's cub could be said to be a treasure. It could easily extract several drops of complete Xuanwu blood essence, and the price of each drop of blood essence was probably comparable to that of a Class 8 or Class 9 divine weapon. No wonder these sea beasts wanted to kill their way into Dragon Whale Island. It was a cub sacred beast. Once they could divide and devour this Xuanwu cub, there was a 99% chance that they would transform and evolve. Some of the sea beasts whose bloodlines were already at the peak of the spiritual grade might even mutate and evolve into semi-divine beasts, or even sacred beasts. As for the semi-divine beast in the center of the waves, there was a 99% chance that it would evolve into a true sacred beast. Xing Hui, keep an eye on it. Although that Xuanwu is also at Class 4, and looks like it has just transformed, a sacred beast of this level is definitely not easy to deal with. I'm afraid that even if the Dragon Whale Island Lord personally makes a move, he would only be able to defeat it and not kill it. Class 4. Dan Taiyu's eyes widened in shock. Xing Hui nodded. A Class 4 sacred beast was naturally a one-sided slaughter of ordinary sea beasts. Even if the Xuanwu wasn't proficient in fighting, it still caused a bloody storm in the Jade Lake in a short few minutes. Just as this one-sided slaughter was about to come to an end, a terrifying monster with 6 heads suddenly charged out of the lake. In an instant, the power of water and fire erupted on the surface of the Jade Lake, completely covering the Xuanwu. 6 heads, the power of water and fire. Dan Taiyu cried out again. The semi-divine beast I sensed is this 6-headed snake monster that is about to transform. As long as it can devour the blood essence of the sacred beast Xuanwu, it will complete its transformation and evolve into a sacred beast, Jiuying. Xing Hui nodded. Although there were many vicious beasts in the inner sea, there were basically sea lords. There were even vague records of the number of sea lords in the inner sea. Some sea lords liked to stir up trouble, while others stood aloof from worldly affairs. It was said that the area of the sea where Dragon Whale Island was located belonged to a mild-mannered Xuanwu, and to become a sea lord, even if it was in the inner sea, it usually had the strength of a Class 5, or even a Class 6. This Xuanwu cub only had the strength of a Class 4, so it obviously couldn't be that sea lord. It was very likely that it was of the same race as the Xuanwu sacred beast. Thinking back to the semi-divine beast Jiuying chasing after the Xuanwu cub, as well as the continuous eruption of underwater volcanoes, it was very likely that a great battle had broken out between the rulers of the inner sea, and one of them should be the ruler of this region, Xuanwu. And in the end, Xuanwu was defeated. Jiuying, or rather, the hydra that had transformed into a Jiuying, became the new ruler of this region of the sea. Wait, if the Jiuying that defeated the Xuanwu sacred beast became the true ruler of this region of the sea, why did it only use Class 3 sea beasts to attack Dragon Whale Island? And there was only one Class 4 sea beast. For this to happen, it's very likely that the Hydra and the Xuanwu sacred beast that were vying for the position of Sea Lord fought until both sides were injured. The entire region of the sea was without a leader, so it fell into chaos. In addition, the bloodline of the sacred beast Xuanwu was too attractive to the sea beasts, so those sea beasts who thought they had some ability wanted to take advantage of the chaos to devour the blood essence of the sacred beast Xuanwu. So they chased after the Xuanwu cub that fled to Dragon Whale Island. Xing Hui's eyes lit up. He reckoned that he had touched upon the truth of the matter. At this time, the two giant beasts were still fighting fiercely in the small jade lake, raising terrifying waves. Although the Xuanwu cub had the strength of a Class 4 sea beast, its technique was still inferior to that of the quasi-holy Jiuying. Moreover, that Jiuying that had yet to transform was clearly at the middle or high Class 4 sea beast. After a round of fighting, the Xuanwu cub was clearly not as strong as it wanted to be. In the end, the quasi-holy Jiuying gained the upper hand, and actually managed to severely injure Xuanwu, forcing Xuanwu to flee to the shore of the lake. As soon as it reached the shore, the quasi-holy Jiuying's 6 heads roared at the same time, and the power of water and fire surged out, causing the shore to ignite into a raging fire, which completely enveloped Xuanwu and burned it wantonly. If this continued, the slow Xuanwu, who had no chance of escaping, would very likely be killed by this quasi-holy Jiuying. Xing Hui, the Xuanwu sacred beast has ruled over our seas for decades, and has hardly caused any disasters. However, if we let the Jiuying become the master of this region, it will definitely break the peace of this region, and the people of this region will have no way of making a living. We should still help. Lend the Xuanwu sacred beast a hand. Even if we can divert some of the 6-headed basilisk's energy, it would be good enough to let Xuanwu recover some of its strength. Dan Taiyu said worriedly. Xing Hui looked at the 2 Class 4 sacred beasts. There was no need for Dan Taiyu to say anything. Xing Hui did not intend to let these 2 sacred beasts go. Although the 6-headed snake monster hadn't completely transformed into the Saint Beast 9-headed infant, it still wielded the power of water and fire. There would inevitably be a flame essence core within its body. This sort of flame essence core was even better than a high-quality fire tribute spirit stone. A 4th-order flame essence core was enough to allow a spirit-grade true energy immortal 2nd stage powerhouse to directly push their true energy to perfection. Even if Xing Hui cultivated divine-grade true qi, he could only absorb a part of the purest fire attribute power from the flame essence core. It was still enough for him to push his golden crow true qi or crimson yang true qi to a small realm. Hearing Dan Taiyu's words, he nodded slightly and said after a moment, "When the Xuanwu sacred beast no longer has any power to resist, I will make a move. However, I hope you can promise me one thing. No matter what happens later, you can't tell anyone." Dan Taiyu was slightly startled, but she quickly nodded solemnly. "Okay, no matter what I see, I will not tell anyone." In order to fight for the Jiuying's corpse, Xing Hui had to reveal more tricks. Seeing Dan Taiyu nod, he immediately pulled out his crimson dragon sword. Dan Taiyu was the daughter of the city lord of North Sea City, so she was very knowledgeable. When she saw the crimson dragon sword in Xing Hui's hand, and the blazing heat emitted by the sword, she immediately covered her mouth in shock. A Class 5 divine weapon? You should know what kind of trouble this divine weapon will cause if it is exposed," Xing Hui said. Dan Taiyu quickly nodded, and then raised her hand as if she was swearing. "Xing Hui, don't worry. I will not leak the news of this Class 5 divine weapon. Xing Hui nodded. Even if Dan Taiyu really did leak the news to the City Lord of North Sea City, it would not be a big deal. With his current strength, a mere City Lord of North Sea City was nothing to be afraid of. But Dan Taiyu's favor would be written off. Chapter 105. The Xuanwu Cub and the semi-holy Jiuying continued to fight. In the end, the Jiuying gained the upper hand. Seeing that it couldn't escape, the Xuanwu could only choose to hide in its shell and become a real turtle hiding in its shell. However, the Jiuying wasn't a purely physical beast. Seeing that the Xuanwu wasn't going to come out, it immediately spat out raging flames at the Xuanwu. The blazing waves of flames surrounded the Xuanwu cub and incinerated it. In the blink of an eye, the ground was turned into glass. Even the nearby water was quickly evaporated by the terrifying flames, forming a distortion in the void. Xing Hui, let's make a move. That Jiuying's injuries aren't light either. As long as you can tie down the Jiuying for a bit, I'll be able to use my heavy water true qi to nourish the body of the holy beast Xuanwu and heal its injuries. Although it won't be able to recover to its peak state, it won't be difficult for it to recover a bit of its battle prowess and fight the Jiuying again. Dan Taiyu said somewhat impatiently, "You want to tame this holy beast?" Xing Hui looked at Dan Taiyu. Dan Taiyu shook her head. Holy beasts are extremely proud. Let alone taming holy beasts. Ordinary people might not even be able to tame spirit beasts. Before obtaining a brilliant beast taming method, only vicious beasts can be tamed by humans. I don't even dare to imagine taming a holy beast. I've only heard that holy beasts are extremely intelligent and remember favors. If we can help the Xuanwu cub at this time, won't it be able to bring less trouble to our Dragon Whale Island when it rules this area in the future? A holy beast's corpse is completely worth an astronomical price. Even if it's a holy beast cub, it's no exception. I understand that a man's wealth is his own ruin. Besides, if we let the Jiuying kill the Xuanwu, without the Xuanwu restraining it, we definitely won't be a match for the Jiuying. In the end, it'll only benefit the Jiuying, allowing it to devour the Xuanwu holy beast and complete its transformation, growing into an even more terrifying existence. Xing Hui glanced at Dan Taiyu somewhat surprised. He didn't expect her to be able to see the pros and cons of the whole thing, clearly in front of the temptation of a holy beast's corpse. You don't need to worry about the Xuanwu. It won't die anytime soon. Let's wait until the Jiuying exhausts its flame power. But if that's the case, the Xuanwu will also be severely injured and on the verge of death. At that time, with my newly cultivated heavy water Jinqi, I might not be able to help it recover much of its vitality. The Jiuying's injuries are not light. When it was fighting with the Xuanwu, it had already exhausted its ability to control water. This is also the reason why it forced the Xuanwu to come ashore. Once it exhausts its flame power, it'll be the same as having its two most powerful techniques taken away. At that time, I can rely on the Crimson Dragon sword to heavily injure or even kill it. This Dan Taiyu looked at Xing Hui, obviously not trusting him. Even if the half-holy beast Jiuying exhausted its flame and water power, and had injuries left behind by the Xuanwu, it should still have the battle prowess of a peak spirit refining cultivator, right? Xing Hui, a saint-grade Jinqi cultivator, actually wanted to rely on a rank 5 divine weapon to defeat a terrifying beast that had the battle prowess of a peak spirit refining cultivator? Xing Hui, Dan Taiyu wanted to persuade Xing Hui again, but he was indifferent. She was helpless and could only anxiously stand by the side. The half-holy beast Jiuying continued to spit out flames for a few minutes, causing the temperature within a few kilometers to rise by a few degrees. Xuanwu, who was in the middle of the flames, was almost cooked. But at this time, the flame power in its body was finally exhausted. For a moment, the half-holy beast Jiuying let out an unwilling roar. It wanted to entangle Xuanwu and bite Xuanwu, but it was unable to do anything. It could only cry out helplessly. Xuanwu is really worthy of being a saint beast. There's no need to doubt its life-saving methods. Xing Hui said as he watched from the side. Xing Hui, if we don't do anything, Xuanwu's cub won't be able to hold on. Don't worry. I think the reason why Xuanwu is not coming out is because it knows that even if the Jiuying exhausts all its energy, it can't do anything to it. That's why it is so fearless, and is even too lazy to counterattack before its death. Don't use your heavy water Jin Qi to heal Xuanwu. Just leave the Jiuying to me. With that, Qing Su leapt up, directly charging towards Jiuying, who was recovering the power of fire within him, and spitting out flames from his mouth. Almost at the same time that Xing Hui rushed out, the half-holy beast Jiuying also sensed his presence. Seeing that a mere Jiuying in the true energy realm dared to challenge its dignity, the Jiuying let out a furious roar. Its 6 heads quickly bit towards Xing Hui. Xing Hui's eyes were like lightning as he stared at one of the heads, where the Xuanwu had bitten off its scales. He did not dodge at all. Be careful. Seeing this scene, Dan Taiyu was so scared that she raised her voice and shouted loudly. At this moment, Xing Hui drew his sword. The Crimson Dragon Sword, an upper-grade level 5 god weapon, was suddenly unsheathed. It swept up a flaming meteor and instantly tore through the sky, ruthlessly slashing towards one of the snakeheads. Chi! The sword light whistled. One of the heads of the half-holy beast Jiuying was directly cut off by Xing Hui's sword. Roar! After one of its heads was cut off, the Jiuying let out a dragon-like roar. Its huge body rapidly moved. The remaining 5 heads intertwined like 5 terrifying pythons, bringing along a thunderous might as they bit down on Xing Hui. Facing the might of the 5 heads, the Crimson Dragon Sword in Xing Hui's hand madly changed. Flames burst out, and blazing qi that was not inferior to earth qi swept out, crazily sweeping towards the surroundings. The Jiuying's sturdy scales tore open bloody scars, causing the half-holy beast to scream miserably. This Dan Taiyu, who was originally full of worry, suddenly widened her eyes in shock. Even without the power of water and fire, and with a large number of wounds on its body, the rank 4 half-holy beast Jiuying could still fight against any peak spirit refining realm cultivator with its physical strength. Even if his father, Dan Tating, was here, he would not dare to say that he had the ability to kill this Jiuying. But now Xing Hui was actually fighting against the half-holy beast Jiuying. Not only did he cut off one of the heads of the half-holy beast Jiuying, the blazing qi of his sword that he brandished tore open wounds on the Jiuying's body. What made her feel even more incredulous was the places where Xing Hui slashed were all the places where Xuanwu had bitten open. His sword continued to widen the wounds caused by Xuanwu's bite. When he found an opportunity, he suddenly burst out again. Rumble! The blazing flames dazzled the void. In the next moment, the remaining 5 heads of the Jiuying once again let out 4 mournful screams. Another head was cut off by Xing Hui's sword. Too powerful. Dan Taiyu's beautiful eyes were filled with shock. However, this shock was replaced by panic the moment the Jiuying's head fell to the ground. Careful! Pung! Xing Hui's body was suddenly swept by the Jiuying's huge body. Like a cannonball, he fiercely smashed into the ground. Even the ground that had been scorched into glass was smashed into pieces by him. Seeing this scene, Dan Taiyu was so scared that her face turned pale. She immediately rushed out to help. However, he never thought that if it were any other person, Qing Su, whose organs would have been completely displaced from the strike, would actually forcefully suppress his injuries and flip around. He had already taken to the air again, pulling away from Chun Shi as he retreated, and then the qi of the sword burst out. The qi of the sword shot through the eye of one of the Jiuying's heads at an unbelievable speed, and then came out from the back of the head. Flying sword? Dan Taiyu, who had rushed out, stopped in her tracks. He had a rank 5 divine weapon, a flying sword, and also cultivated holy great earth energy. With the combination of these 3, the battle prowess he could unleash was not inferior to any spirit refining cultivator. He might not even be inferior to her father, Dan Tating. Xing Hui, he actually had such strength. After piercing through one of the Jiuying's eyes in one of its heads, Xing Hui seemed to have thought of a battle tactic. His body flew, and he actually quickly opened up the distance between himself and the Jiuying. At the same time, the Qingxian sword continued to shoot out under his control, and in an instant, it pierced through the other heads of the Jiuying. In less than a few breaths, 4 of its remaining heads were pierced through. This 6-headed snake was a rank 4 half-saint beast. If it were to swim in the sea, it would naturally be able to ride the wind and break through the waves. Ordinary humans would not be able to compare to it. However, it was unable to keep up with Tsing Hui's speed, and was completely suppressed by Tsing Hui's kiting tactics. Under such circumstances, the rank 4 upper-grade Qingxian sword was even more intimidating than a rank 5 upper-grade divine weapon. Roar! Roar! The Jiuying let out a furious roar, and a pillar of water shot out from its mouth like a water cannon, blasting Tsing Hui's body. Careful! Dan Taiyu's panicked voice sounded. However, before the water pillar could explode on Tsing Hui's body, the true qi in Tsing Hui's body surged, and the shadow of a golden crow spread its wings behind him. In an instant, more than half of the water pillar in front of him was incinerated. Although the remaining water column still hit his body and sent him flying, it did not cause too much substantial damage to him. In addition, with his powerful recovery ability, he could recover in a few breaths. Seeing that it could not do anything to Tsing Hui, the Jiuying suddenly became extremely irritable. The half-saint beast Jiuying was not afraid of a head-on confrontation. Even if Tsing Hui cut off 2 of its heads, with its powerful self-recovery ability, it could recover in 10 days to half a month. However, Tsing Hui did not want to fight it head-on, and its long-range attack ability of water and fire was almost completely exhausted. The little it recovered was not enough to cause a fatal blow to Tsing Hui. For a moment, it could only watch as Tsing Hui once again flew over on his sword and pierced its 5th and 6th eyes. With 4 heads and only 2 eyes left, the Jiuying finally felt a little scared. However, it did not want to give up on Xuanwu's essence and blood. Seeing that Xuanwu was still hiding, it suddenly rushed forward to wrap around Xuanwu's huge body and was about to take it into the Luchuan River. But at this moment, the black tortoise, who had been holed up like a tortoise on its last breath, suddenly stretched out its head. Its head, which was filled with sharp teeth, fiercely bit down on the only head of the Jiuying that still had a good eye. Qi! Blood spurted out, and the head was bitten off by Xuanwu. Since then, the half-saint beast Jiuying had lost 3 of its 6 heads, and the remaining 3 had their eyes shot out by Tsing Hui. It was completely blind. He jumped up and directly came to the side of Xuanwu, who was hiding in its shell. Bang! A blazing flame suddenly exploded in Tsing Hui's hand. The terrifying temperature rose crazily, causing the air within a radius of tens of meters around Tsing Hui to be distorted due to the burning of the air. Tsing Hui. Dan Taiyu saw that Tsing Hui seemed to want to kill the Xuanwu cub. She opened her mouth and wanted to say something, but in the end, she couldn't say anything. A holy beast. Even if it was just a cub, its value was far beyond anyone's imagination. Especially when this cub only had the combat strength of the 4th order. To countless people, this could be called a heaven-sent opportunity. The blazing and domineering golden crow true energy suddenly covered the body of the Xuanwu cub, causing it to tremble slightly, as if in fear. However, the golden crow true energy that had always been successful had a problem at this moment. Although in terms of quality, the golden crow true energy was purer than the flames spat out by the half-holy beast Jiuying. There was too little of it. Compared to the true body of the Xuanwu cub, which was more than 3 meters in diameter, it was like trying to put out a burning cart with a cup of water. Seeing that the golden crow true energy couldn't do anything to the Xuanwu cub, Tsing Hui kept his guard up and directly drew his sword. The crimson dragon sword swirled with flames and generated gang qi, ruthlessly stabbing at the weak point below the Xuanwu cub's shell. Bang! Flames burst forth. The true energy dissipated. The strong rebounding force traveled along the crimson dragon sword to Tsing Hui's arm, causing the web between his thumb and forefinger to crack. The crimson dragon sword, which was a superior grade 5th order, almost flew out of his hand. This defense. At present, the Xuanwu could be said to be on the verge of death, even if it was very likely that it had sunk into a tortoise's breath to recover its vitality. It was enough to determine that its injuries were extremely serious. However, In this situation where the opponent was standing motionless and unable to counterattack, his attack with a superior grade 5th order sword actually couldn't do anything to this holy beast cub. This made him feel somewhat embarrassed. True energy realm. So what if it had divine grade true energy? The difference in strength was still too great. However, he wasn't willing to give up on a holy beast cub so easily. When he glanced at Dan Taiyu in the distance, he pondered for a moment. In the next moment, a terrifying power swept out from his body. Divine art. This. With the divine art, the blazing true energy in Xing Hui's body suddenly transformed into stellar energy. This stellar energy, which far surpassed that of ordinary stellar energy experts, poured into the sword, causing the crimson dragon sword to seem like a blazing sun. It exploded with a dazzling radiance, so bright that Dan Taiyu couldn't help but raise her hand to shield her forehead. This, bang! A blazing wave of fire erupted, incinerating what little vegetation was left on the ground. In the center of the wave of fire, Xuanwu, who was safe and sound in his turtle shell, let out a pained scream. He was actually sent flying by this sword and constantly tumbling. Below the turtle shell, a pitch-black sword slash was half a foot deep, and one could faintly see the flesh wriggling inside. Very good. After his sword had taken effect, Xing Hui, who had been worried about the abnormal defense of the Xuanwu cub, breathed a sigh of relief. He once more raised his sword and charged at the Xuanwu cub. But at this time, the Xuanwu cub seemed to know that even its tyrannical defense could not block Xing Hui's crimson dragon sword. It quickly stuck its head out and whimpered as if begging for something. At the same time, it very humanely bowed its head. Ah! Dan Taiyu was shocked by this sight. Xing Hui, this Xuanwu is bowing its head and begging for mercy. Bowing its head and begging for mercy? Xing Hui looked at the Xuanwu before him and asked, if this Xuanwu submits, is there a way to tame it? Submit? A holy beast can't possibly submit to a human, can it? At most, it can give enough treasures. Dan Taiyu hesitantly said. No amount of treasures can compare to a holy beast cub. Xing Hui did not wait for her to finish speaking, and was about to strike again. But this Xuanwu cub seemed to have understood their conversation. It whimpered and lowered its head quickly. Its big watery eyes looked at Xing Hui pitifully as it begged for mercy. If he could tame a stage for Xuanwu, it would be immeasurable for his strength to increase. Although this Xuanwu was completely under his control, the main reason was that the environment of the Luchuan River limited the abilities of water creatures like Xuanwu and Jiuying. If they were to enter the sea, even if an immortal level 5 green netherworld realm powerhouse attacked personally, he would not be able to do anything to a stage for Xuanwu. Buzz buzz. As Xing Hui formed a spell, his figure appeared directly in the Chaos Temple, and went to the personal space of the Dawnlight leader Lingyu. However, in Lingyu's personal space, Xing Hui did not meet Yin Huang. He did not even find Tianwen, who was well informed. Just as he was about to leave regretfully, he seemed to have thought of something, and formed another spell. Not long after, this spell seemed to connect to a mysterious space. As his figure changed, he appeared in a simple and elegant hall. In the hall, a lady in a blue robe ended her conversation with another lady. She stood up and said, Pak Hui. Qingyu. Xing Hui nodded slightly. The lady in front of him was Nailin Fei. She used the name Qingyu in the Chaos Temple, and this space was her personal space. This was the first time he had entered Nailin Fei's personal space. As he swept his gaze over it, he was shocked to discover that just this hall alone was already over 60 square meters in size. Including the other rooms and courtyards that he couldn't see the end of, this space was probably 100 meters in diameter. Based on this, Nailin Fei's personal space had already reached the second level. Just as Xing Hui was looking around, a special wave appeared on his body and bounced off. Xing Hui's gaze fell on the lady beside Nailin Fei. At this moment, the lady looked at Xing Hui with a hint of shock. Appraisal. Xing Hui recalled the characteristics of the special wave, and suddenly thought of something. The lady's expression became awkward. She hurriedly apologized to Xing Hui. I'm sorry, Your Excellency Pak Hui. It's just that this is the first time Qing Yu has let a man enter her personal space. I was very curious, and could not help but want to peek. Please forgive me, Your Excellency Pak Hui. Jinyu. Nalan Fei glared at the lady with dissatisfaction and said sternly, you should know that using appraisal to investigate other people's information is a big taboo. If you're found out, you'll be killed immediately. You have nothing to say about this, and Tianxiong will not stand up for you. Moreover, Pak Hui is one of my best friends. If this happens again, don't blame me for not recognizing you as a sister. Yes, I understand. I was just too curious. We've known each other for more than 10 years. This is the first man to step into your Qingyu villa. The lady called Jinyu said, and turned to Tsing Hui again, and again to apologize. Seeing this, Nalan Fei's expression returned to normal. She turned to Tsing Hui and said apologetically, Pak Hui, Jinyu has offended you. I'll teach her a lesson when the time comes. Please don't take it to heart. This was the first time Tsing Hui knew that there was such a taboo when using appraisal to investigate other people. He could not help but feel a bit lucky. When he first met Ling Yu, he had used appraisal on her. Fortunately, she did not notice. Otherwise, he would not be able to enter Dawn. If he could not enter Dawn, he would not be able to trade with Swordmaster Bai Heng. He did not know what he would be like at this time. Alright, Jinyu. Pak Hui would not look for me if there's nothing important. Now that she's looking for me, she must have something important to discuss. I understand. I'll leave now. I won't disturb the two of you. Jinyu clearly had a carefree personality. She giggled and said a few words before her figure quickly dissipated. Clearly, she had left the personal space. Pak Hui, what's the matter? Although there were no outsiders, Nalan Fei did not call Tsing Hui by his real name, because she had developed the habit of using codenames in the Chaos Temple. I was lucky enough to injure a Xuanwu cub. Currently, that Xuanwu cub is showing signs of submitting to me. I want to know if there's a way to sign a contract with this Xuanwu cub and make it mine. Chapter 107. A Xuanwu cub? Upon hearing Tsing Hui's words, Nalan Fei was truly shocked. You actually severely injured a Xuanwu sacred beast and made it show signs of submitting to you? After saying that, she seemed to have thought of something. There's a slight possibility. Ordinary people can't sense the profoundness of us sons of chaos, but these beasts have keen senses. Therefore, ordinary cultivators find it extremely difficult to subdue spirit beasts, let alone sacred beasts. However, we sons of chaos have a unique advantage. It's often easy for us to gain the favor of spirit beasts and even sacred beasts. The higher the level of chaos, the greater the probability. It's just like how these spirit beasts and sacred beasts know that following high-level sons of chaos, like us, has an extremely bright future. Oh, Tsing Hui was a little surprised. I didn't expect sons of chaos to have such an advantage while facing the danger of being hunted down by so many forces. Becoming a son of chaos is a great opportunity for anyone. Many people who have reached a bottleneck in their cultivation shouldn't have any hope of reaching a higher realm for the rest of their lives. However, after becoming a son of chaos, they can often create miracles. From the fact that sons of chaos are sought after by countless people and forces, you can see how mysterious and powerful they are. Low-level sons of chaos can't display too many profundities, but when they become high-level sons of chaos, they can completely pull apart the difference between themselves and ordinary cultivators. This is especially true when a son of chaos reaches level 30 and opens the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. Chaos Treasure Pavilion? The inner sanctum of the Chaos Temple is the world of high-level sons of chaos. In the Chaos Treasure Pavilion, you can use Taoist rhymes to buy treasures that ordinary people can't obtain no matter how hard they try. This is also the reason why sons of chaos above level 30 are still trying to obtain treasures and raise their chaos level. If you want to sign a contract with the sacred beast Xuanwu, you only need to buy a chaos contract from the Chaos Treasure Pavilion. However, it's not easy to obtain a chaos contract, so you can only give up on it. Therefore, the only way is to get Xuanwu to sign a master-servant contract with you. Many sacred beasts often have this kind of contract. At this point, Nalan Fei paused slightly. Even if a son of chaos isn't of a high level, it's not easy to get a sacred beast to sign a master-servant contract. Many sacred beasts would rather die than become a human's servant. You can consider it. You can either cultivate a relationship with the cub Xuanwu and get it to sign a contract with you, or kill it directly and sell it for blood essence. Even if you can only extract 3 or 4 drops of blood essence from a Xuanwu, it's enough to exchange for cultivation resources, for your entire immortality cultivation resources. I understand. Is there any problem with Lorraine's royal city? Only Zhang Jiuxiao and Song Xue are left by Jasper's side. She doesn't dare to act rashly. However, the agreed date hasn't arrived yet. You still have news that she might give you a fatal blow at the last moment. I'll be careful. Xinghui nodded slightly. In fact, with his current cultivation level, it would be fine if Jasper Fairy didn't come. If she dared to come for revenge, even if Zhang Jiuxiao and Song Xue worked together, only death would await them. After learning a little about the master-servant contract with Nailan Fei, Xinghui immediately shifted his attention to Xuanwu. This Xuanwu and Jiuying were in such a sorry state because both sides were injured. Once it recovered, there was a danger of turning the situation around. As a holy beast, your inherited memory must include human language, so I know you can understand what I'm saying. Now you have 2 choices. The first is to use the master-servant contract recorded in your inherited memory. Only then will I believe you and let you live. The second, I'll kill you and extract your blood essence to sell. After saying that, Xinghui slowly raised the crimson dragon sword in his hand. You only have 1 breath's time to think. Choose 1 or 2. This didn't seem to be a choice at all. Xinghui's words immediately made the Xuanwu cub in front of him look pitiful. Its eyes were filled with tears, as if it wanted to gain sympathy. However, Xinghui's expression was as cold as steel. He was unmoved as he looked at the Xuanwu. When the time was up, he directly drew his sword. Looks like you've chosen the latter. You can't blame me. Buzz buzz. Before Xinghui could finish his words, the Xuanwu cub emitted a faint mysterious fluctuation. Immediately after, it used a drop of blood essence that contained boundless water-type essence, and controlled it to float in front of Xinghui. Seeing this scene, Xinghui, who understood the master-servant contract, immediately forced out a drop of his blood essence, and fused it with the drop of blood essence. The 2 drops of blood essence fused together, and immediately exploded, forming a red array less than a meter in diameter. The array flashed for a moment and split into 2. One went into the Xuanwu cub's body, and the other went into Xinghui's body, leaving a small Xuanwu mark on his wrist. Baby, it's so bitter. The moment the Xuanwu mark formed, a cry that would make people cry sounded in Xinghui's mind. Xuanwu. Xinghui tried to transmit a portion of his consciousness that contained information to the Xuanwu mark on his wrist. The Xuanwu cub in front of him immediately widened its eyes and stared at Xinghui. Aren't you only at the 2nd stage? How can you use the power of the spirit? The power of the spirit that the Xuanwu spoke of was referring to the mental transmission just now. Xinghui was unwilling to explain. It's good that you can communicate. At this moment, the Xuanwu in front of him looked at Xinghui and hesitated for a moment with an aggrieved expression. Suddenly it said, Actually, I can speak your human language. Xinghui was slightly startled. You can actually speak. No wonder you're one of the 6 divine beasts at the peak of the sacred beasts. Dan Taiyu's surprised voice sounded. At the same time, she looked at the Xuanwu cub in surprise. Xinghui, that array just now. Could it be a contract array? Xinghui nodded. Dan Taiyu's beautiful eyes suddenly widened. You subdued it? You subdued a powerful sacred beast. Hearing Dan Taiyu use the words, powerful sacred beast, to describe itself, the scarred Xuanwu cub that looked quite miserable suddenly raised its head and puffed out its chest. Although its voice was a little childish, it pretended to be profound. That's right. I am the most powerful overlord within a 3,000-kilometer radius of this sea region. Under my pressure, all the fish, insects, and sea beasts within a 3,000-kilometer radius of this sacred beast have to follow my orders. When I'm slightly angry, I can cause landslides and tsunamis. If I'm not distracted, I can cause a beast tide to drown your insignificant human kingdoms. Shut up. Xing Hui saw the Xuanwu cub bragging seriously and couldn't help but scold. Since you can govern 3,000 kilometers of sea region, why are you being chased by these sea beasts? Xing Hui's words immediately made the Xuanwu cub in front of him change its expression quickly. It immediately put on a pitiful look. Baby's heart is bitter. I was the most powerful overlord within a 3,000-kilometer radius. Under my sister's protection, I lived a good life. I stretched out my hand and opened my mouth to eat. When I went out, my little brothers would follow me. My life was so carefree and happy. However, a year ago, my sister was summoned by her people to participate in some war in the outer seas. She never came back. When the Hydra, who was originally loyal to my sister, saw that my sister didn't come back, they immediately gathered their little brothers to rebel. All right, speak normally. Just now you called yourself Hydra? Jiuying? Is it the half-sacred beast that I just killed? Xing Hui said seriously. Yes. The Xuanwu cub responded pitifully. At the same time, it glanced hatefully at the half-sacred beast Jiuying that was killed by Xing Hui. That's just the Hydra's son, a lackey. It's too much. How dare he betray me? Boss, why don't you just take me back and kill the Hydra, and take back my sister's cave residence? Let me tell you, my sister's cave residence has a lot of good things. Once you bring them to the human world to exchange, I guarantee that you will have cars, money, divine weapons, armor, beautiful women, handsome men. You will have everything you want. What's the strength of the Hydra you mentioned? He's not powerful. He's just a little stronger than me. In your human terms, he's probably at the 5th order. My sister can kill him with just a spit of saliva. Let alone you, boss. Can't you sense my strength? Are you trying to kill me with a borrowed knife? No, boss. You are the son of chaos, chosen by the great chaos ruler. According to my sister, the sons of chaos are the most terrifying group in the world. Every one of them is unbelievably powerful. Because they were bestowed by the great chaos ruler, their talents are even stronger than divine beasts. If I see a son of chaos in the future, I must run as far away as possible. If I can't outrun them, I must surrender immediately. Xing Hui looked at the Xuanwu cub. Was this why he had successfully subdued it? Its sister only taught it how to distinguish the sons of chaos. Did she not teach it that there were strong and weak sons of chaos? But the chaos ruler? Who is the chaos ruler you speak of? The chaos ruler is the chaos ruler. My sisters and my inherited memories tell me that the great chaos ruler is the most supreme existence in the world. Well, in short, he's very, very powerful. Looking at it, Xing Hui knew that he would not be able to get the information he wanted. Meanwhile, Dan Taiyu stared at Xing Hui. No wonder you're so powerful. So you're the legendary son of chaos. Qing Su glanced at Tan Taiyu and said seriously, since you've heard of the son of chaos, you should know what the son of chaos represents. It's just like the high-grade class 5 god artifact in my possession. You can't teach it to others. I understand. Dan Taiyu nodded vigorously. She raised one hand and clasped her fingers together. I swear, I will never tell anyone. After saying that, she glanced nervously at the Xuanwu cub. Right now both my sister and father are in danger. Since the Xuanwu sacred beast is the ruler of these seas, is there a way to make those sea beasts retreat, so that our North Sea city can avoid this crisis of destruction? Xing Hui's gaze fell on the Xuanwu cub. The young black tortoise hurriedly said, this must be the wise, mighty, and beloved mistress. In fact, the decision of this matter is not up to me, but up to Master. If Master is willing, I will immediately bring Master back to the cave residence and regain control of this sea region. When that time comes, all the treasures in the sea will be at your disposal. Xing Hui saw Dan Taiyu looking at him and shook his head slightly. That Jiuying's strength has reached the 5th grade. Instantly, Dan Taiyu's eyes dimmed. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.